Welcome to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center, another edition of IPFW Volleyball. Tonight, the number 12 Mastodons taking on, check over my shoulder here, yes it is Loyola Marymount. Got a lot of California teams out here tonight. Loyola Marymount comes in at 4-11, and they've played some decent teams out in California, so the record's really not indicative. Neil Day joins me tonight, and Neil, what about these California teams? We saw Cal State Santa Barbara take Ball State in 3 straight. What is it about them?
Like you said, Santa Barbara's a really tough team, and they're probably, other than IPFW, the best team here. Don't count Loyola Marymount out. As you see, like most California teams, they play really tremendous defense. We played them out there in San Diego last year and on their home court, and we beat them twice in 3 games. For both times, they gave us really big fits because they play great defense, and we hit our best shots, and they pop them right back up. The only problem is they don't have as much firepower as we do, so we kept firing at them until the balls finally went down. But they will dig a lot of balls, and they will give IPFW a run for their money. Okay, now IPFW, the last time we had a televised broadcast out here, they lost in 4 games to Ohio State. Looked really disinterested at times. Turned it around with a West Coast trip, went 4-0, then came back and beat rival Ball State here in the conference. And they've turned their attitude around, and you're going to see a different team out here tonight, Neil. Well, they went out to California, and I remember from going out there, their practices were a little bit dead than what a typical IPFW practice is, but they went out there, they beat BYU in 5 games. Chad Blatcher came in, had a big dig in one of those games, turned the match around. I know the team also played their best match of the year against San Diego State, 2 top 10 ranked teams. They came back, I practiced with them that week, and I saw such a big difference in their attitude. They came in, they were going after balls, Coach Ball was working them twice as hard, they were much more upbeat, and I think they're ready to make the national championship now. Okay, Neil, let's highlight some of the players for Loyola Marymount. Jason McAtee comes in, 263 kills on the season. He's their #1 option. Rick Humphreys is a setter. He's only a sophomore. And Coach Rick McLaughlin for Loyola Marymount, we got that straight, he said this team is struggling. They're looking for consistency. They're going to run a simple offense tonight, and they're going to dig a lot of balls. For IPFW, Lloyd Ball, very impressive. He's turned this team around with a little leadership. And of course, you got Papaleo coming back with some real bounce now. The ankle seems to be a little better. You hit the key right there. Loy's playing a lot better, and Raul has come back to life now. They've got the combination offense going, which gets him more involved. And as you know, Raul, once he's got it going, he's all world. As far as Loyola Marymount is concerned, they had a great player here who's now their assistant coach, Mike Longacre, 2 years ago. I played in the Olympic Festival with him, and he was tremendous. And he was a tremendous player then, and now they have a guy by the name of Charlie Matson, who I'm not even sure if he's going to start for the night, but he's in the middle. He's number 17. I played against him last year. He gave me a lot of fits. Look for him to be a sleeper on their team if IPFW doesn't cover him tonight. Okay, well, it's going to be the blocking of California Loyola Marymount tonight against IPFW in their power game. Number 12 versus number 16 Loyola Marymount tonight. We're going to have the starting lineups when we come back right after these messages. Back at the Hilliard Gate Sports Center, I'm Paul Farbo, joined by Neil Day. IPFW opening tonight their spring fling opener against Loyola Marymount, the Lions from California. Lions come in at 4-11, IPFW at 14-6, and they've won 5 straight. Good matchup tonight. Loyola Marymount comes in. We mentioned in the pregame, Jason McAtee. He's a sophomore. He's their leading attacker with 263 kills on the season. Also, Andy Zimmerman is going to get a start tonight. He plays the center position, and he has 132. Also want to check out for Charlie Matson for Loyola Marymount. He's going to be another weapon
Those will be the three main attackers for Loyola Marymount. Neil?
This college cable access sports presentation is underwritten in part by a grant from Cable Access Incorporated of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Not a bad crowd out here tonight. Expected a little more. Right now, numbering about 750. And we talked about it earlier. This team is getting better leadership from Loyola, IPFW we're talking about right now. What have they done specifically? What has been done throughout practices and throughout game strategies that has made this team better? They beat BYU on BYU's home floor, and that's something not a lot of teams do.
Well, I think it's been a couple of things. The first thing is, like you said, they went out to California and had that winning streak. There's nothing like going out there to beat some of the best teams in the country and proving to yourselves and the rest of the country that you are for real. And that the slump they were in earlier in the season was just that. It was a slump. It was not real. They really are a top contender. The other thing is, little thing is called the PIT, the PIT. It's a drill. It's been talked about in the papers. A lot of people at home don't know exactly what it is. It's a drill that Coach Ball does, where if a player doesn't go for a ball or doesn't have an assignment when they're blocking that they miss, or he puts them in it, and it's very tedious and very strenuous for the player to do it, but it really boosts up the morale because the rest of the team players gather around and pick the player who's in the pit up. And the player in the pit has to run and dive for balls and get balls spiked at him very hard and play him for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. And during that time, it really pumps the team up, and it really has picked things up in practice. And Coach Ball's done a great job of motivating his team. He's always been a great motivator.
Okay, perhaps the intensity was lacking a little bit. We saw Ohio State come in here and really take IPFW out of it. Ohio State had lost, I believe, 9 straight times to IPFW. Was there a lack of intensity? And what have you seen as far as other players coming to the fore now, taking the example? We talked about Papaleo, but how about some of the other IPFW players?
Well, in reference to the Ohio State match, I've watched it once since then. And, when watching it the first time, I didn't really realize it, but Ohio State played a tremendous match. That is the best match I've ever seen them play, even back in the years when I was in high school and I idolized those players, both at Ohio State and here at IPFW and at Penn State and those teams. They didn't even with the great teams they had then, they never played a match that well. I think that's the best match Ohio State has ever played in the history of their school. IPFW didn't play bad, though. They weren't as motivated as they needed to be, though. Now with that loss and realizing they have to beat Ohio State in order to win the conference next time, I think when they play Ohio State down there at Ohio State, they'll be much more motivated and they should do well. As for the rest of it, and they're coming together, like I said, Raul has been involved in the offense a lot more now. And if he gets started, the whole team rallies around him and Loy. Loy's been dishing the ball as well as usual. I think Loy's played pretty consistent all year long. And, Norman is really pounding the ball. And he's coming back from that injury. Both he and Felipe, they're both getting healthy now. The team's getting healthy. Raul's getting involved in the offense. Quentin's a steady rock like he has been all year, and they could win the national championship.
Okay, just about a minute away here from the starting lineups. In earlier action tonight, Ball State was swept in three straight by University of California and Santa Barbara. The Gauchos came back from a 9-2 deficit in the third game to put them away 15-13. That's going to be the matchup tomorrow night, Neil, at 8 o'clock. And Cal State Santa Barbara comes in ranked 9th in the nation. They play out in that tough Western Intercollegiate Volleyball Association league out there with some of the big guns, Stanford, Pepperdine, and UCLA, 10-10. So what's that matchup going to be like tonight?
About 5 minutes ago, I was just down in Royal Dawn's room talking with some of the Santa Barbara players, some of my friends I played with in the Olympic Festival when I played against them past year. Todd Amati, who's their star outside hitter, was just talking with me. They've had a couple of really tough 5-game losses out there. All those losses have been on the road. Almost the rest of their games are going to be played at home. And they're going to get a chance to avenge a lot of those losses. They are a very good team. They're the same team that beat us last year in 5 games here. Of course, we had some injuries then, but still, they had injuries too, and they played really tough. Tomorrow night will be a great match. IPFW also has lost them once already this year, so they're going to have to come out here and prove something against them. I believe IPFW has lost to them once this year, I believe. But IPFW is going to be out for revenge both from last year and earlier this year against them. And Santa Barbara is going to be ready. They have a big middle in Jason Mount, who's 6'10", and like I said, Todd Amati and Stacey J are also big guns for them.
That was early in February or late January. IPFW did make another West Coast swing. They lost in 3 straight to Santa Barbara out there. So that will be an interesting matchup. Sunday, Laverne comes in, and Quincy, 2 other teams from California. What do you know about them, Neil?
To be perfectly honest with you, I have never heard of either of them before. And I looked on the schedule. What Coach Ball's trying to do, there are a lot of programs trying to build themselves up in the country. And Coach Ball realizes that IPFW was in that position just a few years ago. And what he wants to do is give them the chance to come in here and play in the spotlight, get a chance to be on TV, a chance to play against a major team like IPFW. And I think that's really great that he invites club teams and some of the weaker teams in here to play, because one, it gives some of our guys that don't get a chance to play, and also it gives those teams a chance to test themselves against the toughest competition in the country, like IPFW. So that's what that tournament's basically about.
All right, get a look here at Coach Arnie Ball.
And his assistant, Colin Leiter. You know, he has done a tremendous job this year motivating this team and bringing them back from the slump they were in earlier in the year. And a lot of that has to do with his assistant coaches. As you see Colin Leiter, who used to play here at IPFW and holds a service aces record here at IPFW. Also, he has Mark Franke, who's other assistant who works here in the data processing department and knows more about numbers than any other man I know. And he really puts together a good system of scouting for Coach Ball and watches the match closely. He has his own Franke number system. And it's, I think it might even be copyrighted, because I don't think any other team in the country uses it. It's one of the big keys to our success. Also, Dave Schmidlin, who's new, who took over for Denny Johnson from last year, he played football at Michigan State and also coached, assistant coach of volleyball there.
Okay, now let's go down to the floor. We're going to pick up public address announcer Eric Coy. He's going to have the starting lineups for both squads.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hilliard Gate Sports Center on the campus of Indiana Purdue at Fort Wayne. For tonight's second matchup, what's Loyola's matchup? Between the visitors from Loyola Marymount and our own IPFW Volleyball. First, the starting lineup for Loyola Marymount. At outside hitter, a 6'5" sophomore from Arcadia, California, number 2, Jason McKindy. At middle blocker, a 6'4" junior from Honolulu, Hawaii, number 6, Deke Kilpatrick. At outside hitter, a 6'2" senior from Honolulu, Hawaii, number 7, Wayne Selexon. At setter, a 6'3" sophomore from Honolulu, Hawaii, number 10, Rick Humphreys. At middle blocker, a 6'7" senior from Torrance, California, number 13, Andy Zimmerman. And an outside hitter, a 6'3" sophomore from Wanamalo, Hawaii, number 17, Charlie Matson. Head coach of Loyola Marymount is Rick McLaughlin. And now our IPFW Volleyball. At middle hitter, a 6'6" sophomore from Ponce, Puerto Rico, number 8, Felipe Ralat. At swing hitter, a 6'1" senior from Cogas, Puerto Rico, number 9, Raul Papaleo. At setter, a 6'9" junior from Woodburn, Indiana, number 10, Loyola. At middle hitter, a 6'5" sophomore from Galesville, Wisconsin, number 11, Peter Kuyak. At opposite side, a 6'5" sophomore from Detroit, Michigan, number 12, Craig Spider Collins. And at swing hitter, a 6'4" junior from Yoko, Puerto Rico, number 15, Norman Almodovar. Head coach of the Volleyball is Arnie Ball. And now would you please rise and join in singing.
Back once again, ready to get this thing underway. Let's refresh your memory of the starting lineups. Number 2, Jason McAtee is outside hitter for Loyola Marymount, first of all. Deke Kilpatrick, number 6. He's a middle blocker. Wayne Siegelson, another outside hitter. He's number 7. Rick Humphreys runs the show. He's number 10. Number 13 is Andy Zimmerman. He's a middle blocker as well. And Charlie Matson on the outside is number 17. For IPFW, Pepe Ralat, number 8 in the middle. Raul Papaleo swinging from the outside. Loyola, the setter, number 10. Peter Kuyak, number 11, getting another start tonight. in favor of Quentin Spiegel. Craig Collins at opposite, number 12, and number 15, Norman Amaldabar. Swing hitter likes to operate from the right side.
Well, one big change in IPFW lineup is that Craig Collins has been getting a lot more time as of late. And he's been up and down as of recent. But one thing, if they're going to win a national championship, they need him to get started. He's a big, big part of this team, as most of you fans who watched us last year can remember. Craig is capable of doing anything and everything he wants to do. And he missed the fall. And when he came back in, he's had a hard time getting back on track. But once he is on track, he's going to be unstoppable. I'm not exactly sure why Quentin isn't starting. He may be hurt or he may just be out of the lineup. But they're going to have a good lineup out here because they're a very deep bench. And anybody they put out there is able to do a good job.
Officials for tonight's game, Patty Salvatore and Tom Pinkel. Marymount, the first serve. Here's ball, set, Papaleo, Bobby.
That's his play. And like I said, they've really built this offense around him now. And if he gets started, other teams can forget about it.
This is Marymount on the attack now. Siegelson wide with the attack.
Rolls in the net. Once again, we have the two best refs in the Midwest and possibly in the country here, Patty Salvatore and Tom Pingle.
Serve just long. That's Wayne Soliskin.
Norm Burglorn with the great eye there. Norman's really been working hard this year. This is the hardest I've ever seen him work, even though he's always been a hard worker in the past. In practice, he's very focused, very bent on getting his team better and getting himself better both. He's been also a big leader. You know, they don't just have one leader, they have several leaders this year, and a lot of guys are stepping up, and that's why they're doing a lot better now.
Kuyak with a kill for IPFW. Second kill tonight. First for Kuyak. Side out IPFW. Still stuck at zeros. Papaleo now on serve. And two service errors early on. Not very indicative of high quality, high caliber of teams here. This is ball now. Backs at Collins. Blocked at the net.
Like I said, these guys are going to dig a lot of balls tonight.
That time Kuyak with a block.
The thing about LMU is they will dig the ball and they will try and run it back down your throat, but they just don't have the firepower to terminate the ball. If they can somehow develop that tonight, they could have a very good chance of beating IPFW.
That time Kuyak, not quite enough penetration on the net. Kill goes to Andy Zimmerman. First kill tonight for Loyola Marymount.
Anyone who wants to be a good blocker, don't do what Pete just did because his hands are too far back from net. The ball's going to land on your side. You have to reach over the net.
Back set, Relat with the dink.
Another great up by LMU. They play tremendous defense. As good as anyone in the country.
Relat swinging from the backside. Broken play. Zimmerman capitalizes. Second kill for Zimmerman now. 1-1.
Felipe was a little bit opposition on defense here. That ball wasn't hit very hard. We could have picked that up very easily. We're a little sluggish at the start here, but we should get things started up pretty soon here.
That's McEntee on serve. Kuyak miss hit.
That's 3 miss hits in a row for IPFW.
Papaleo might have had an IPFW player into the net.
It was Craig Collins who's in the net there. Like I said, they're a little sluggish. Everybody's, kind of in slow motion right now, but that often happens to us at the start of matches. I don't know why that is.
Tough serve. Amaldabar digs it out. Great play by Amaldabar. Kuyak, second kill tonight.
It's a great set by Loy. Nice thing about Loy, he's 6'10", but he can very easily make himself 5 feet tall by just simply bending his knees. Someone 5 feet tall can't make themselves 6'10", so he can get down and set those low balls.
Zimmerman going baseline. Called in. Third kill tonight for Zimmerman.
That ball looked to be out, but, from up here, we don't have as good of a view as he does, so it probably was in.
Zimmerman comes in tonight hitting about 29% on kills. 3 kills already. That's Collins.
To win a national championship, that's what they need out of him.
Kuyak on serve at 1-2. Siegelson handling most of the passes tonight for Marymount. Blocked that time, Amaldabar and Relat.
That's what is quick elevation off the floor. Norman saw the play, read, you got to read the center, saw the set, and quickly got up, and most importantly, over the net. He penetrated and blocked that ball straight down.
Tough spinner serve. Siegelson having problems with it. McEntee misses. 3-2 now. IPFW. Kuyak still on serve.
Loyola Marymount's going to have to keep those balls in bounds and try and have IPFW self-destruct on themselves, because if they try and go toe-to-toe banging the ball at IPFW, they're going to make a lot of mistakes and not have a chance at winning. Those two hitting errors back-to-back out of bounds are just giving points to IPFW. And IPFW is going to set out because they have more firepower hitting. LMU has got to keep the ball in bounds and play great defense. That's their strength. And right now they're not doing that.
Kuyak with a changeup this time. Siegelson handles it. Set for Zimmerman. 4th kill for Zimmerman that time. Good change of direction.
Zimmerman's hot here. He's getting both shots. He's got the cutback and the angle shot working for him. And if you have that kind of an arsenal, the middle blocker has really got to widen his arms when he blocks and stretch him further apart, or else he's never going to be able to stop that.
Moldovar now up to ball. Jump set. Back to Amor. First for Moldovar tonight. Team 5th. Moldovar now back on serve at 4-2. Second service error for IPFW, and that's what California teams like to do with them. Mentioned earlier, California teams, you don't see the ball hitting the floor too much. Santa Barbara, a perfect example of that. Came back in that 3rd game after being down 9-2, dug everything, oftentimes going into the stands. Another service error for Loyola Marymount. That's their second. Good jump serve by Ball.
Great pass by Matson. Way to cushion it. Whenever you get a hard jump serve like that, you have to collapse your body. Just as Matson did, let the ball just rebound off you. It was a great pass, and that's why Loyola Marymount got the side out there.
This is Siegelson back on serve. Deep.
Great pass by Normie.
Blocked that time. Number 6, Deke Kilpatrick.
Now that's a great idea by Lloyd to run that combination play to get Raul involved. The problem was Felipe was up about a second too late. Therefore, the block didn't jump with him, and it left 2 blockers on Raul. Felipe has got to get up earlier in order for Raul to be effective. Often this year, Raul's been blocked on. It's because IPFW's middles have not been getting up on time. They have to get up earlier to open Raul up so he can get started.
Second kill for Collins now. This is Pepe Rolado on serve.
When I say get up earlier, I mean if they're up in the air, the middle blockers on the other team have to commit with them. And therefore, that they'll be up in the air, and on their way down, Raul will be just going up, and he'll be hitting the ball while their blockers are on the ground.
Deke Kilpatrick on serve now. Marymount has gone to Zimmerman 4 times. 4 times he has been successful.
IPFW's had a lot of service errors in this first game. Kind of looks like earlier in the year when they were having those problems serving.
Beautiful back set that time. Papaleo can't connect, though. Toughest set in volleyball.
If you remember, if any of you saw the paper today, there was an article on Norman and Raul and how Norman likes to go through the blocks and Raul likes to beat them with his quickness. When you get situations like that where the pass is bad and Raul has to go up against 2 blockers, he can't use his quickness. He has to use power, which is not his strong point between that and quickness. So that's why he hit that ball out of bounds, because he had to go around the block and force him to hit out of bounds.
Humphreys.
Norman, on the other hand, will go through you just like that.
Just to touch on that point, Humphreys got away with a push that time, but Moldovar comes up with his second kill.
Norman's not afraid to challenge anyone, and I mean anyone. Norman will challenge you and usually will win.
There's a man we expected to do a lot of damage tonight, Jason McEntee. His name changes every time I say it. We'll try and get that straightened out. He's back on serve now, 4-5.
Great pass by Norman. He is one of the most beautiful platforms around. And like I said, he goes straight at you, and you can forget it if he gets it through. You have to block Norman to stop him, because if the ball gets past the block, it's a kill, because he has so much pace on the ball when he hits it.
Collins on serve at 5-4. First time we've seen him tonight, that's Charlie Matson.
Like I said in the pregame, watch out for him. He can get started for these guys. And last year he gave us big fits. He was the only player on their team who was really sticking and hammering the ball. Ever since Mike Longacre, they haven't had a real guy to terminate the ball like a Brent Hilliard or a Terminator like we have with Quentin Spiegel or Raul. But Matson could be their answer to that.
Kuyak that time with a good off-speed kill. His 3rd kill of the match thus far. McEntee from the back row.
These balls Loyola Marymount's hitting, they're all very diggable. IPFW, like I said, they're off to a slow start, but they still have a lead. So, you know, if you're going to play bad and still hold the lead, there's nothing wrong with it. You can get these cobwebs out early, but IPFW should be playing better defense than they're playing right now. It's a great tip by Loy, but like I said, LMU will pick up almost everything.
There you see the example. Sometimes Siegelson capitalizes. Just got word it is McEntee.
That is what Loyola Marymount needs to do. They need to use our big block to their advantage by taking balls and hitting them off our hands out of bounds. If they do that, it'll increase their chances of winning tonight.
Collins that time tried to go off the fingertips, hit the high, hard one. Loyola Marymount pulled down in time, and they take the first lead now since the 2-1.
Spider-Man's really been reaching high this year to get higher elevation on his block, but he's not snapping his wrist as much as he needs to bring those balls down in bounds. When he starts snapping his wrist more, he'll get back to his form he was in last year.
Olivar now with 4 kills. Back on serve.
Great serve by Norman. Great serve.
Overpass. Still alive. 2 more hits. Siegelson. Nice angle that time. Papaleo couldn't cover.
Coach Denny Johnson last year would be furious right now because we didn't hit that overpass. Any overpass that comes over net, you have to terminate. You cannot give the team another chance. Great serve by Norman. We get the overpass. We have to terminate that for a point. We're just giving them, we're letting them stay in the game now. There's the Spider-Man. Oh, another great dig. That's what if they give the ball to us like that, you got to go up and stick it and throw it down their throats just like that. And that's what Raul did. He made it for the last one where he didn't do it.
Second kill for Papaleo. Ball jump serve. It's a good one. This is Humphreys now. Siegelson going wide.
He kills it out. 24 wins. Ball to serve.
Tied up at 6 apiece now. First game, best of 5.
Side out, Loyola. White selection, back to serve.
Backs at that time, turned away. Charlie Madison was there.
It happened again there. There are 2 blockers up on Raul because Felipe was up too late. If Felipe gets up a second earlier, that middle blocker has to stay with him. Instead, he's up late. The middle blocker can cheat out there on Raul, and Raul's going to get blocked. The middles have got to get up earlier in order to get Raul open.
That time a slow developing play. McEntee was there, but could not turn it inside. Collins now with his 4th kill. 3rd kill, rather.
Our middles have got to get up earlier to get Raul to be effective.
This is Humphreys now. McEntee off the fingertips. Forced service error for Loyola Marymount. IPFW with 3. Both teams struggling a bit right now to find a rhythm. A lot of hitting errors thus far. Papaleo obliges with one of his own.
You know, IPFW's been playing really poorly here, and it's amazing they're only behind by 1 point. If they don't get things started here and they stay in this sluggish mode, they're going to allow Loyola Marymount to get this first game in a big advantage in this match. They have to get started here quickly. Great cover by Loy. One thing Coach Ball's really worked hard on in practice is coverage, and it just showed there.
That time, nice set by Papaleo. He was the setter here before ball came in.
Fans, as you're watching at home, I want you to watch. After Lloyd Ball releases the ball on a set to the outside, watch what every IPFW players do. They all drop down, and they're all ready to pick the ball up in case it gets blocked. Coach Ball has really drilled that in practice, and it's really important against California teams. You can't win if you don't cover your own hitters.
This is Madison.
Nice try by Felipe. Felipe's a great defensive player, and he showed it there, almost getting that ball up. Timeout by IPFW.
Well, right now, Loyola Marymount leads 7-6. IPFW coming back. And down 2-1. Got out a couple points. The IPFW huddle there.
For all you players at home, I was talking about coverage. That's very important. If you're playing on a team right now, no matter what level it is, coverage is very important because you never know when a ball is going to be blocked. You have to know where you're supposed to be in position. Make sure you get that clear with your coach. Ask your coach where you're supposed to be on coverage every time the ball's hit. And be down low to the ground because the ball can come very quickly at you. If you pop it up, and you can run it back down the other team's throat, and it really depletes them because they just missed a big block.
That time you see Madison ducking out of the way. Good communication there. Teammates told him to get out of the way. He did. Point, Loyola Marymount now leading 8-6.
Looks like Spider-Man's having a problem snapping his wrist there, but he'll get it started up. Yeah, that's what we need. Big Pete.
Good snap the wrist that time. Kuyak up high, beautiful arm swing. His 4th kill of the evening.
Pete and Spider-Man both have been working on swinging high at the ball, really reaching because they're such good jumpers and have such long arms that they can't be blocked. Pete just did a good job snapping his wrist. That's why that ball went down in bounds there.
That's McKenty. I've been mispronouncing his name all night. He is long with it, 7-8 now.
Calling Leiter, calling out the serve.
Kuyak and Collins are both sophomores, so they're going to be the names that carry on once Papaleo and Moldovar are done here.
You know, like I said, you notice Coach Ball has Colin Leiter calling the serves. Remember, he does hold the service ace here at IPFW as a player, so he knows where to serve the ball and where to attack the other team's zones. So that's why Coach Ball has him there, and he's doing a really tremendous job doing that.
This is Collins bombing back row.
He had a great serve out here out of Normie. Great serve. Another great pass.
Siegelson with a nice pass that time. Now one to get it over Papaleo.
For you players at the net, you want to do exactly what Loy Ball just did. If you don't get a chance to get in on the block, you have to get off the net and turn ready to play defense. If you just stand there at the net and watch the other guys block, the ball may come off the block and come right at you, and you won't be ready to play it. If you're not blocking at the net, you make sure you turn around and get ready to play defense, get low on defense, because you never know if the ball's going to come off the block and come right to you.
5th service error for IPFW, turns it over. Marymount serving at 8 apiece.
Great set.
That time, good penetration by the Lions. Rollat again, a 2-man block. 2-time ball, 3-time now.
Look at this IPFW coverage. This is tremendous. They're covering every block, but they got to terminate that ball there. Come on, Felipe. Yes. Wow.
McKenty turned inside. Rollat one-on-one. Big block.
Felipe showed perfect blocking for him, turning that block back into the court. He was going towards out of bounds. He turned his hands in. The ball went off his hands and landed right in the middle of the court. It was a perfect block by Felipe Rollat. Tremendous job.
We haven't seen many blocks from IPFW tonight. Marymount has been hitting wide. Not that time. Great dig by Moldovar. Coming up, Kuyak back row, turned inside, 3-man block.
Felipe almost had that ball because he was down covering like he was supposed to be, and he almost picked that ball up. It was a tremendous dig by Norman. Norman's great at every part of the game. Both he and Raul are just perfect fundamental players. They do everything well.
Overpass now. Papaleo has to dink it over. Opportunity here. Madison bombing. And they've had that angle shot covered, but they just cannot get the ball up in the air.
What happened there was because of the combination play, Raul on the way down ended up having to block middle. As a result, because he's so short, he had to commit with the middle. That left the outside wide open, and he was able to get that cross-court shot.
Yeah. Rollat for the kill.
Felipe was up early there on the back one, so Loy set him. As long as he's up early, 1, he's going to hold the middle, and 2, it'll get Raul open. He did a great job there. That's why he got the kill. He needs to do that every time.
Noticed early on, Marymount likes operating from the left side. They're getting an opportunity now. Kilpatrick back to serve. Kilpatrick on serve at 9-8. Pace starting to pick up. Moldovar, another great pass. Kuyak, quick hitter that time.
Lloyd does a great job of moving his feet to the ball. A lot of you think the most important body part when it comes to setting is the hands. It's not, it's the feet. Lloyd got under that ball, bent his knees, and set a perfect set to Peter Kuchak, all because he moved his feet. He does a great job of moving his feet to the ball.
That is a 6th service error for IPFW. The only thing holding them out of the game right now for Marymount is they have 4 service errors of their own.
It's been a really poor serving game. Norman going right through him again.
See the strength that time of Moldovar up against 2 blockers. And if he keeps drawing 2 blockers, that's going to set up a lot of middle for IPFW. Collins on serve at 8-9 and another service error. And
you've got to quit these service errors. You know, like you said, if Norman keeps hot like that, it's going to open up the middle. But see, the thing is, Loyola Marymount doesn't respect our middle right now. They're leaving it wide open. They're keying on Norman and Raul, which I would do too if I were a coach, because right now we haven't gotten our middle started like we need to. Peter and Felipe are capable of doing a lot of damage to them, and look for that before the night's over, because Loy's going to start setting them a lot more like he has to in the latter part of this game.
Tough pass that time, all set up by the good serve. Siegelson low with the kill attempt. Tied at 9 now. Kuyak on serve.
It was a bad set, and the hitter was late getting there. He's got to keep that ball in bounds. Instead of swinging at it with all his might, he's got to tip that over a block and keep it in, give him a chance to win the point.
This is Madison, another tough pass. Humphreys handles it. Reset now, one to get it over. Zimmerman with the off-speed kill. Big opening in the middle, he found it.
Peter made a great try at the ball, but he was a little slow getting started to it.
Hadn't heard from Zimmerman lately. He scored 4 quick points, or had 4 quick kills for Marymount early on. That time the Pineapple, Loy ball.
Loy taking matters into his own hands. He needs to do that more here since we're sluggish. Go ahead and take the ball, throw it down, slide out for us. One thing Coach Ball's been doing this game, if you can't see our bench, he's been walking back on the bench and asking players at the end of the bench what's going on out there, because they have a very good different angle from him being further back there, and they can give him a lot of feedback, which is helpful, which is really a great move by Coach Ball. He does that a lot, and it really helps our team out.
Boy, what a great play that time. That was Kilpatrick, and D. Kilpatrick that time, instead of blocking the ball back, reset, tipped it to his setter that time. Great play. Very cerebral play by Marymount. Thinking team, these players, talking with Coach McLaughlin from Marymount, said these players, it's really easy because you have so many players to choose from out there to find the type of players that you can work and mold. And the defense that they play out there, well, that's because they have so many players to choose from. You can pick the best defensive players, and you will still have some offensive weapons as well.
That's very true. Like you said, they have, but on top of that, which is even more important why the defense is so great out there in California, is because they stress defense, and they play against great teams with great hitters like Brent Hilliard one night, and the next night you're facing Tom Sorensen. If you're facing those type of guys and you don't play great defense, you can forget it. So out here with IPFW, you know, there are only really 3 tough teams out here: Ohio State, Ball State, and us. So we don't play great competition night in and night out, so we don't have to play as good a defense. We can get away with just a great offense. Out there, you can't get away with just a great offense. You have to have a great defense, too.
Papaleo just long on the kill attempt. Singleton back on serve at 10-9. Collins that time, off balance. Set was a little wide for him. Now we're going to have a substitution. Quentin Spiegel gets his first action tonight. Calms down Collins a little bit. He's upset with himself. Got his body twisted. At time could really do nothing with that kill attempt.
I think Quentin might be a little bit injured, and that's why it's his shoulder. And Coach Ball was resting him there, but he sees in the trouble that they're in. They need him to come in and give him a spark here. Craig's been having some, problems, but Craig's still a great player, and Coach Ball's just to see him out and settle him down. And I'm pretty sure he'll be back in before this match is out. I have to apologize to the fans at home. I've had a problem with my voice, and if it cracks, don't laugh at me. I'm doing the best I can.
Madison turned. And that time the difference being Kuyak well over the net. Good penetration that time.
It's a great point. It was the penetration. You're right on top of that, Paul.
Second block for Kuyak. Point IPFW. Papaleo turns it back now. Marymount going to Madison outside. 3-man block.
If we could see a replay on that, you'll see Loyola Marymount was not down covering like they should have been. IPFW has been using much better coverage. They could have picked that ball up, but they were all standing up straight when the ball was attacked, so they didn't pick the ball up.
Well, the defense picking up the offense right now. Down 9-11, come back to tie it at 11 apiece. IPFW now stepping it up a little bit defensively. The blocking was not there. Marymount was hitting wide, and when they weren't hitting wide, they were going off the fingertips. And now a couple blocks brings the offense back to life.
All right, here comes the replay here. If you watch Loyola Marymount, they all kind of stand up. None of them cover except for number 6. And he goes to the outside. Look at number 13. He's standing up. How's he going to cover that ball standing straight up? That's totally pathetic. If I was the coach, he'd be at the end of the bench right now.
And you also notice, too, Loyola Marymount had 4 players at the net that time. You're not going to have good coverage.
We're going to get another angle of that replay. Watch. Or maybe we're not here. But here it comes. Goes back. Simply did not cover. Just stood there and watched it.
Charney Ball talking with Craig Collins. Play going on. Madison, that time, did go off the fingertips. The IPFW block off Spiegel. So it's side out, Marymount. Good timeout called by Coach Rick McLaughlin.
Definitely. In the fifth game, there are excuses for not covering and not playing defense the way you should because you're tired and it's hard to stay mentally focused. But in the first game, there's no excuse for not covering, and that player needs to be down. There he goes again.
Great block that time. Papaleo and
They're under
Kuyak.
the net. Whoa. Number 2 went under the net, and they missed it.
McKenty comes back with a kill. He was under the net.
But if the refs don't see it, it never happened. And it's very hard for the refs to see everything out there. I've gotten a first-hand experience doing a lot of refereeing lately. And I realize what a difficult job it is for them to see every last thing that goes on.
This is Deke Kilpatrick on serve. Now 12-11. First bad pass we've had tonight. 13-11 now. Timeout IPFW. Back-to-back timeouts. Seemed like they had the momentum. Now it's 13-11. Marymount in control now in the first set on serve.
Struggling a little bit here. Coach Ball's talking to him now, trying to get him motivated up there on the bench. He's talking to Raul. Can't really figure out what he's saying, but they need to do something right now to get started up. My suggestion here is I see who they have in the front row of who they should go to. A couple of Concordia players here in the stands watching the game. Right now, Lloyd's getting them pumped up. They have Quentin, Pete, and Raul up there. Quentin's now playing opposite. I think they're going to set the ball back to Quentin on a back 4 and have him terminate it because he's the big gun. Or they could also go to Raul if Peter gets up in time and holds the middle. Outside to Quentin. Back to Raul.
Papaleo.
Great dig. It's that Loyola Marymount defense.
Another back set. Papaleo. That time the block did not get up quickly now.
Well, Quentin would have terminated anyhow. They were in the net, but that's great defense. Loyola Marymount wants this game. They're doing what they do best, and that's playing defense. What surprised me with such a great defensive team, why they don't cover well doesn't make any sense to me.
Going to have a substitution now for the Lions. Number 8 in, Ryan Gilbert. Back row specialist coming out. Kilpatrick. And another service error. That's number 8 here in this first game.
We're down 2 points. That's 2 service errors in this game alone for Raul. You got to have a tough serve, which is what he went for, so you can't blame him there. But for some reason, I mean, you've got to get that ball in bounds.
Almost a great pass. Kuyak that time.
Great defense. It was a great hit by Pete and a great set, but great defense.
Boy, that time Siegelson just found a spot, looked up, found the ball, saw the spot was wide open. Now we're going to have a substitution for IPFW. Chad Blatchley going to come in, back row. Pepe Rolak going to come out.
This is a momentum breaker since we don't have a timeout left now. We put Chad in, it slows the game down. Hopefully he'll miss his serve here. Also, Chad's in there to play defense for us.
2 timeouts per game for each team.
Come on, Normie. Norm Gorm, the quiet storm, and he's pumped.
And there you see it, the intensity from Norman Maldivar.
They're beating us this game with defense and the fact that we're beating ourselves with all kinds of hitting and service errors. All we have to do is play our game in this match. We could be midway through the second game up 1-0 right now, but we're making a lot of errors, letting them stay in it.
That was a match point for the Lions of Marymount. They're going to have another match point up here. Madison back on serve.
Yeah, they have game point here. Matson also is a good server. He has a problem with his hand right now that might affect his serve. Great pass by Normie. Kicks it out to Vogorm. He's blocked.
Game 1, Zimmerman with a block. 15-11. The Lions from Loyola coming up big.
I'm really
down the stretch.
Loyola, as you said earlier, haven't been with our middles, and they've been cheating on our outsides, and I'm really surprised. I never thought they could be this good of a blocking team. They weren't last year when we played them. They've got more height on their team this year, sure, but not as much as you would think to be such a good blocking team. They really blocked well. And if you remember Ohio State, that's how they beat us, with great blocking.
Okay, we're going to take a timeout right now. Be back with game 2 right after these messages. Back once again at the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. The first game in the books, 15-11, Loyola Marymount. IPFW going with the same lineup they had in there. Game 1. Rolad in now for Blatchley, but Spiegel is in. Collins is out. IPFW will be up serving first, and Loyball first up in the serving rotation.
They need Quentin to get him started here. Now, Coach Ball, I'm not sure why Quentin was out the first game, but I think it was because of the rest of his shoulder. Didn't want to use him tonight, wanted to save him for Santa Barbara, give his shoulder a chance to heal another night. But looks like we're going to have to use him here. We're down 1-0. We have to win this match against Loyola Marymount.
Ball with a good jump serve. This is Wayne Siegelson, man. What a player. He's doing it all. He's doing the passing, and they're going right back to him.
I think he was front row there and just wrote that, yeah, he was, because he was over the line if he would have been back row. But it was a great set by Loy to go to the middle. They haven't been watching our middles. Coach Ball sees that. He's going to force it to the middle.
That time went to the middle, and it came back with 3 blockers on Zimmerman in the middle. Side out IPFW, Ralat on serve.
Coach sees that they're really clamping down on our outsides. Part of that's been because of our passing hasn't been as good as it usually is. But also part of it is they just haven't respected our middles. And our middles are both tremendous hitters, Pete and Felipe. So if we go to them like that, we should get a lot of kills out of them.
Matson that time, his kill attempt long. Ralat reaching for it. Caught in between whether to hit it or not.
Well, it was touched by the block. The lines person had signaled it, so he had to go for it. He made the right play. When in doubt, it's never out. Always go for it if you're not sure whether it was touched or not.
This is Ball now. Spiegel, first swing of the night for Spiegel. I want to touch on it. The shoulder injury is probably, next to the ankle injury, one of the most serious injuries for a volleyball player.
Yeah, I just had my first one. One thing I was always lucky when I played in college, I never had a shoulder injury. I had all kinds of other injuries, but never a shoulder. But I hurt mine a few weeks ago, and it's not a fun thing.
Well, explain some of the dynamics there. On the kill attempt, when you rise up, you don't want to get your arm out of a certain alignment. You want to have that alignment with your body. And you're not as able to do as many things when your arm hurts, to hit the cut shots, outside the body line, or do as many things with your shoulder, dig as many balls, dive into the floor as much.
You get a lot of sharp pains when you go home at night. It's really sore. You can barely even lift it above your head. One thing about Quentin is what you said about the cut shots. He has really long arms, which makes his shoulder slots more loose, and he hits a lot of really crazy shots. I mean, he can do things with the ball that most players can't do because he's able to hit those cut shots, but it's also really tough on his shoulder, and that's why it's hurting now, I'm sure.
This is Matson. Dug nicely by Ralat. One to get it over to Moldavar. That time, cross court.
Great job, Normie. Coach Ball has gone to the middle. Lloyd Ball's pumped up. By Felipe and Peter both getting a couple of big kills here in this game. It's opened up the outside for Norm Begorm, the Quiet Storm. And I hear some thunder crashing. Tornado watch in the house.
We'll have Neil repeat that for us one more time.
There's a tornado watch in the house. Normie's on fire.
Whenever Moldavar swings from the outside, this is Spiegel that time, stuffs it between the blockers.
There's the squirrel. 3
kills this game alone, coming up big. 2-0, Kuyak on serve. This is Matson, overpass that time, nice.
Felipe, that's what you do with an overpass. You rise up over that little dude, number 10. Felipe's about 4 or 5 inches taller than him. Say, get down, little dude. Threw it over his head, straight down for a point.
Well, they list Rick Humphreys at 6'3", but he sure doesn't look it. He's the setter for Marymount, running the show right now, setting up Zimmerman that time, and there's an example of a cut shot.
All players lie about their height. It's a natural thing. I've actually measured. I'm about 6'2.5". I always said I was 6'4". It's just a bad habit of ours. We like to think that we're bigger than we actually are.
Okay, good pass by Moldavar. That time, what a pretty play. Dug nicely by Zimmerman. And right over the middle that time, the blockers slow to react. Matson with a kill.
This match is starting to heat up here. Both teams are playing well now. Instead of the first game was all sloppy. This game has been really good play by both teams. I'd rather see a close contested match that's not sloppy than one that is.
That time, and a cut shot by Moldavar, and the overpass by Ball, connected for the kill.
Better protect your face, buddy, because Loy almost took it off. Loy to overpass, boy. If he gets started here, that is what we need to do. We need to kill all those overpasses. Loy got on top of that and tried to put it in my man's nose.
Boy, tough floater serve. Ralat up in the net. Papaleo off the blocker that time. The center, Humphreys, looking around. Had no help out there.
Rawls getting started. He does a great job of tooling the block. When he does get 2 blockers up on him, instead of going right at him, Rawls will use their hands because he's really great at that. Great block. Squirrel with the set. Loy out to Papa. Ooh.
That time a little underneath the set.
That's okay. We're still on a roll here. Pop has to pick his head up just like he is. He says, my fault. I'm all right. And they're ready for the next play because they're on a roll here and they don't want to lose that momentum because of one bad play.
It's a setter on serve now. Oh, the pineapple shot. Saw that one coming all the way. And what a weapon that is.
And you watch how he disguised it. Not until the last second, he had his hands above his head, looked like he was going to set the ball. At the last second, he threw it down. That's what Loy is so great. That's
whoa, what a great, sorry to interrupt, but what a jump serve. Right. Overpass kill.
You're right. That one deserved to be interrupted on. That was a tremendous jump serve and also a tremendous pass.
Boy, IPFW's come out now with a little more intensity. The hitting is a lot crisper, and so is the passing. And Moldavar is doing it on both ends, 5-1 early in the second. I
really love the way Loyball's playing right now. He's angry, but he's channeling his anger in a positive way. And he's playing very intense because when he's focused in like that, he's getting great jump serves. He's tipping that ball down, disguising his tips well, where it looks like he's going to set the ball. And Loy's really leading this team, and that's why they're up 5-1 right now.
Right in the center there. That was Coach Rick McLaughlin.
Another great serve by Loy. Oh, Normie was where he shouldn't have been. He was about 2 or 3 feet in from the line. All you players at home, when the ball is set in the middle, you want to be all the way out on the line, playing defense outside in, starting from the line and coming into the court. Because if you start in and the ball's hit outside you like that, you won't be able to reach, react, and dig it back to the center of the court.
Verlot now on serve at 5-1. Service error, the first for the Lions in this game, 6th overall.
Hey, Greg, I'm getting a little bit dry here. If you could just anytime pop up or anything, I'd appreciate it.
And more aggressive play now from IPFW. Jump serves. Ball from the back row, something we haven't seen. That's a double hit.
Got caught in there a little while. I was wondering if she was going to call it or not. Homeboy was holding that like a baby.
Zimmerman called for the lift. We see it so often with that jump serve. It's either
that thing went flying in the weight room. It's back there doing bench press right now.
Jump serve, and Neil is on fire tonight. Jump serve is either very good or out of bounds for IPFW.
Certainly, but Coach Ball wants them to serve more aggressively, and they're doing that, and that's why we're up 6-1. So a couple errors when you're serving aggressive like that's no problem. In the first game, we weren't serving aggressive. We're making a lot of dumb errors.
Madsen with a pass to Humphreys. That time, 2-man block.
Pete has got to get over the net quicker. By the time he reached penetrating over the net, the ball had already passed him and gone down his side of the net. You've got to get up and over quickly. And he's certainly capable of doing that because he has a couple blocks where he's done that earlier in the match.
Combo this time. Verlot with a soft kill.
Smart play by Felipe. He's done a lot of tipping there. He's going to start swinging at the ball eventually because they're going to start expecting a tip, and they're not going to get dug in, and he's going to pound one and catch somebody off guard.
Spiegel on serve at 6-1. Madsen with a pass to Humphreys. Back to Madsen now. IPFW into the net.
Call Peter in the net.
Ball was into the net that time.
I think it looked like they signaled number 11, but we just called timeout. Coach Ball wants to settle on down. You know, get some things straight between Felipe and Loy on that back blue set. When I say a blue set, if you look across the back row, if you're facing the net, left to right, the left back is a red set, the middle back is a white set, and the right back is a blue set. The blue set they'll often go to because that is what spreads the defense apart, spreads the defensive block apart, because you're running most of your front row players in front of you, so you want to run a blue set behind. But it'll also go the other way where when you run your players behind, set the red set to the outside. Coach Ball grabbing them both by the shirt to make sure that they understand what he wants done. Now Normie's grabbing hold of Raul, and these guys are communicating really well. Up with a 6-1 lead here. They don't want to let anything slip away. They want to make sure everything's understood.
Charlie Madsen on serve at 1-6. This is a Moldavar with a pass. Kuyak that time. Was it tipped? Was not. Kuyak long with it. 2-6 now, Madsen. And that is another service error.
And these guys are hitting home runs tonight. Cecil Fielder needs to watch out because these serves are flying long ball. They've got to really concentrate, maybe step back a step, and focus in on their serves because there are too many missed serves on both teams. It's making the match sloppy.
This is McEntee. And I just served up another pronunciation of his name tonight. That's about the 10th different one tonight. It is McEntee. That time ran the middle.
Felipe was up there on a little slide. He faked in front, went behind. The blocker bit, boy setting was a kill.
Seen a lot of shoot sets and combination plays for IPFW here in the second game. Not a little bit more out of the basic offense, straight line offense. Perhaps changing it up a bit. 2-6 on serve is Humphreys. Spinner serve tough. Papaleo handles well.
Touch. And the ball was in. Now, Felipe is getting up earlier like he needs to. Loy's giving the ball to the middles. We're opening things up for the outside. Now look, after we've set the middle a lot this game, next game, look for us to go back to the outside because now Loyola Marymount has to play us more honest because we're mixing the sets up a lot.
That time pulled back in time. Did catch a line though. Saligson. Papaleo, angle shot goes. That time had enough time to look and see where the defensive players were at. Angled his arm the other way, cross court. And another service error. That is number 10 overall, second in this game.
It's home run derby out here. But I like that serve by Felipe because he was going for the back corner and he just missed it. You've got to serve aggressive like that. That's one of the reasons why we have our big lead, but we also have to keep the balls in bounds.
Oh, stuff shot that time. Zimmerman served up a facial by Papaleo.
One nice thing about Quentin is he is always up early when he does go for the middle attack. And right behind him was Raul, and that's what we need to do to get Raul involved. The middle has got to get up early, and Quentin did a great job of that.
Best blocking lineup there now. Spiegel, Kuyak, and Almodovar.
Great point, Paul.
That time Almodovar got up quickly. Ball can't chase it down with a slide dive. Expected to get some points out of that rotation. Instead, Marymount comes back.
Well, no problem. All they have to do here is side out and get to the next rotation. This is a tough rotation for IPFW because Loy has to come all the way from the middle back to set the ball. If you watch here, when the ball's served, fans at home, look where Loy is at, where he has to come from setting the ball. He's calling out the he's all the way in the middle back, and he really has to run really fast to get all the way up there. And the pass has to be perfect because if it isn't, he won't be able to run it down.
Boy, that was awesome. Higson's head that time by Spiegel.
Chrome dome. That's called a dome. Quentin just put a big Mikasa. That's the name of the ball. It has a big Mikasa on it on top of my man's head.
I think he just put a dent in that chrome dome.
He branded him with the squirrel on his head. The guy has squirrel written on his head. He's going to go to sleep tonight and see squirrel. Get up in the morning. Go to brush his teeth, have a big squirrel plastered on his forehead.
A lot of colorful nicknames out here for IPFW. Neil, did you ever have a nickname?
Well,
yeah, but that you can repeat on the air.
Oh, no, I can repeat it. I just don't want people picking on me. A lot of people know it already, and I don't want any of the girls that I coach at Northwood to know it because they'll just pick on me, so I have to hold that one in.
Neil Day, a middle blocker on that Final Four team of a year ago. McEntee with the kill.
Rick Humphrey is back to serve.
A little smile there from Saligson.
But like you said with the nicknames, these guys really get along. They're a great unit. I really miss it this year.
Ooh, that time a nice idea by Ball, but Relat not on the same page.
It's a great idea. He was trying to, that wasn't really a set for Felipe. It was more of a dump. He was trying to put the ball down in the court like Chris Cooper used to. He wasn't setting that for Felipe. And he just missed getting it over the net. It was a great idea by Loy. But like I said, I really miss it with these guys because going through a whole season, traveling out to California, going to Hawaii, going on long road trips up to Wisconsin and down to Ohio State, and spending all your time with these guys, you really become close and you get nicknames and you spend all your time around them. And I really miss being around them. They're a lot of fun.
Loyola making a little bit of a comeback now. Another couple points. They're serving at 4-6. Now, the chemistry wasn't quite right early on now. IPFW had some problems with the intensity. Players not taking leadership roles on the team. And they went to Coach Ball and said, hey, look, we need some more discipline out here. And Coach was glad to oblige, and you touched on it earlier.
She should have caught it right away.
They have the pit where players have to dive for balls nonstop as sort of punishment. It's a good binding factor for the team.
You know, with basketball, with the coach out in California, Campanelli.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of coaches are really getting intimidated. They're afraid to really push their players because of things like that. You know, I don't know about that particular situation. We're listening to Patty and Tom's conversation. Wasn't much of one. See what they call here. Okay, side out to Loyola Marymount. They're going to serve here. What they were checking was the lineup check, and they had the wrong server serve.
Right.
And what they can do is the players can ask for lineup check, and they'll get the correct player going.
That's what it was. Wayne Saligason went back to serve. It was not his turn. Humphreys on serve instead. And that time, Spiegel off Humphreys. Coach Ball and said, hey, look, we need some more discipline out here. And Coach was glad to oblige, and you touched on it earlier.
She should have caught it right away.
They have the pit where players have to dive for balls nonstop as sort of punishment. It's a good binding factor for the team.
You know, with basketball, with the coach out in California, Campanelli.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of coaches are really getting intimidated. They're afraid to really push their players because of things like that. You know, I don't know about that particular situation. We're listening to Patty and Tom's conversation. Wasn't much of one. See what they call here. Okay, side out to Loyola Marymount. They're going to serve here. What they were checking was the lineup check, and they had the wrong server serve.
Right.
And what they can do is the players can ask for lineup check, and they'll get the correct player going.
That's what it was. Wayne Saligason went back to serve. It was not his turn. Humphreys on serve instead. And that time, Spiegel off Humphreys.
Like I was saying earlier, the coaches, you know, nowadays, you know, with the thing happening out at Cal, I don't know about that particular situation. Maybe he was a little bit hard on his players, but they can tend to get a little bit softer. And I'm not saying that was the case with Coach Ball, but like the players said, they did feel they need a little bit more discipline. And Coach Ball is certainly capable of coaching anyway. He adjusts with the times and with the chemistry of his team. And this year he felt like maybe he should be a little bit softer at the beginning, but then he realized, you know, he needed to toughen up on him. And they all like it. They all understand, you know, when Coach Ball has to get tough and when he doesn't. And a good player will understand a coach when they have to do those things.
Well, last year the team was laden with some seniors in key positions. This year only Papaleo and Blatchley, really, the seniors that play much.
And Quentin Spiegel.
Quentin Spiegel is senior as well.
But like you said, last year we had Tom Junkie, who was a senior, and Mike Steiner, who had been through 4 years with Coach Ball. Quentin's only been through 2 years. Raul's been through 4. And Chad Blatchley's only been through 2 years. So, you know, there isn't as much depth. Like, I was only here for 2 years, so I knew Coach Ball pretty well, but I didn't know him as well as Tom or Mike knew him. So it helps to have those guys who have been around for a long time. Like 2 years ago, we had the greatest leaders in Fred Malcolm and Tony Looney, because they knew Coach Ball really well and they knew the team really well and what was good for the team.
Boy, that time, tough serve that time, and Spiegel with a six-pack off the face of Zimmerman.
I tell you what, I think that was a lift by Loy, but I don't care. I'm glad she didn't call it because that was beautiful. The way he reached back, set that ball for a back one, and they rammed it down their throat. But Loyola Marymount has a legitimate gripe there and thinking that should have been called a lift.
Zimmerman protesting and coming back with an answer of his own. McKenty on serve now, 4-7. PFW jumped out early, 5-1, 6-2. Kuyak! And boy, we're seeing some good bounce right now from IPFW players coming straight down on the ball.
Kojak's in the place. That's the hardest I've seen him hit a ball possibly all year. He really reeled on that one. They're starting to stick the ball, and that's what they need to do because Loyola Marymount plays such good defense. If we don't hit the ball hard, they're going to dig us. And even when we do hit the ball, they're still going to dig us. So we have to keep throwing it at them until they finally mess up.
That was a third service error this game for IPFW. They had 8 in the first. Kuyak, and they're working the middle right now. Second consecutive kill for Kuyak. Side out IPFW.
Now going back to the players going to Coach Ball. Coach Ball is really good at listening to his players. If any player wants to go in and they have a problem or they want to talk to him about something, his door is always open for those players, and he'll talk to them. That was a great block.
That time Rolat and Ball well over the net. Rolat got most of that ball that time. 2-man block. The high set allowed them to set up shot.
He's a tremendous motivator. He knows how to get the best out of his players, and he'll always adjust. If something isn't working, he'll try something different.
Great serve that time. Rolat capitalizes on the overpass. Timeout Marymount. They're stunned a little bit right now. It's 9-4 IPFW in the second.
Crowd's getting a little bit into it, but it's a pretty small crowd tonight. I'm pretty surprised with that.
Crowd is small tonight, but you have to remember this is March Madness.
But IU's not playing tonight.
Well, that's a good point, too. I want to let you know about this. The College Cable Access Sports presentation is underwritten in part by Grant from Cable Access Incorporated of Fort Wayne, Indiana. We appreciate their time and their willingness to invest here in the programming at Channel 6. I believe it was about 30 live telecasts this year from IPFW. That includes men's and women's basketball and volleyball, as well as the late season volleyball heroics here of IPFW. Played well at home. You'll have 3 more chances to catch them this weekend, and that'll be it. And then, Neil, time to get down to business in the Midwestern Intercollegiate Volleyball Association and look for a berth in the Final Four again. Certainly.
Big matches, beating Ohio State down there at Ohio State to get that #1 seed in the MIVA tournament, win that, get out in the Final Four, and do the damage we're capable of doing.
The winner of that tournament will most likely get a bid, participate in the Final Four. The East normally gets 1 Midwest and then 2 from California.
Penn State's ranked in front of IPFW right now, but that's ridiculous. IPFW has beaten them, and they're a better team than Penn State. Just IPFW's had some tough losses, and Penn State hasn't played anybody. They don't play one California school all year long. How they're ranked #8, I don't understand. I think sometimes the rankings are very political, and that doesn't make any sense to me. However, that's just the way it is, and what's going to happen if IPFW does make the Final Four, Penn State will get a higher seed, and IPFW will have to play UCLA in the first round, which I think is very unfair.
And that tournament is out in California this year.
Yep, at UCLA. That's another reason why IPFW doesn't want to play them in the first round. And last year, you remember we were #3 seed. We played Stanford, which was a very highly intense match. And we want to be the #3 seed or 2 seed this year and not be ranked behind Penn State.
That time 4 hits on Loyola Marymount. Just to touch on that point, the #4 seed has never beaten a #1 seed.
Yeah, but we took a game from Southern California 2 years ago, and if anybody can do it, it's this team.
Okay, 10-4 now. Moldovar on serve. Matson that time. Tough pass. Humphreys reloads. Salikson that time with a kill.
If you see that pass from Matson, he passed that above his elbow area, and they call it good, and I think that's a great call. In the girls' high school game today, a lot of referees call that a lift, and I don't understand that. That's a good pass as long as it leaves his arm clean like that. So that was a great job by the officials not to call that a lift. That should never be called a lift, in my opinion.
I want to touch on the hitting area for the passing is really considered the lower forearm.
Yeah, but just because it doesn't hit there doesn't mean it's not a good pass.
Right.
And you're right, Paul. That's a very good point you make there.
Okay, ball on serve at 10-4. Another tough serve. Marymount gets it over. This one's going to be a freebie. Rolat now with a quick hitter. Marymount was into the net that time. I think that was Matson into the net.
In my opinion, these guys and the girls in high school come out here to play volleyball, not to have the whistle blown every time for plays that shouldn't be blown on. But these officials here, like I said, are the 2 of the best, in my opinion, the 2 best in the country. And you're not going to get any better. Sure, they're going to make mistakes. They're human, but not very many.
Patty Salvatore in the chair tonight. Tom Pingle on the floor. Going to have a substitution now for Loyola Marymount. Zimmerman coming out. Made a lot of noise in the first game right off the bat. Number 8 coming back in. Ryan Gilbert, we've seen him before. He's a back row specialist. They need to get his defensive stop, and Loyola gives him an easy way out. 4-12, Wayne Selection back on serve.
Squirrel.
The middle has worked this second game.
One of the reasons is Quentin is playing opposite the center right now, but Quentin is a great middle, as you know well. He's capable of playing any position on the floor. And Lloyd's been using him a lot in the middle and letting Peter hit in different positions, and it's confusing the other team because Quentin can hit out of the middle as well as hitting from the outside.
Swing by Kilpatrick that time. Haven't called his name much. Some more substitutions coming back in. Zimmerman, Gilbert has to come out for him, and number 15 coming in for Kilpatrick. He's going to go in at serve. It's Craig Adamoli. Some of these names. A lot of players from California and Hawaii. The team is loaded with a lot of players from Hawaii. Down the list here, I see 7 players from Hawaii on the Marymount team.
Certainly, once you get a recruiting connection like we have in Puerto Rico, it allows you to bring more players in from those areas. I know one thing I had hoped to do, being from Pennsylvania, was bring more Pennsylvania players out here to IPFW. I've talked to a couple of them when I've been home in Pittsburgh, but a lot of them are hung up in the Penn State thing, and they all want to go to Penn State. And, you know, I try and tell them about the good parts about our program here, but eventually some more players from Pennsylvania are going to come out here because they're going to see the IPFW's have a really successful program. I was lucky to be, you know, I have a monopoly on it. You know, one of the few, I think I may have been the only player from Pennsylvania to be on the team here. So I've been lucky, fortunate to find my way out here.
Coach Ball does recruit from all over. 3 players from Puerto Rico. That time a block by Zimmerman.
But as you know, with recruiting, you can't recruit as hard in every area. So he focuses mainly in on some California, New York, and Puerto Rico. And, you know, that's why he has his former players to help him out in places like Pennsylvania. And I've talked to some players, but I can't force them to come here. But they're missing out by not coming here.
Great program, build up. Ball has been here over a decade now. That time, Kuyak. And just to finish that point, Loyola is the only player from Indiana. Some people might be surprised, but there is not really high school volleyball anywhere in the state of Indiana. So he is recruited all over. Puerto Rico, Wisconsin has been a good place. Spiegel on serve is from New York.
Oh, great hit by Charlie Matson. That's a good point you make about high school volleyball, but there is a club league here. It's started up by Ryan Tolliver, whose son plays for Ball State. And I'm currently helping Coach Larry Blyler over at Northrop, who's doing a tremendous job with his club boys team over there. And there's a few other teams. Carroll, coached by Lauren Jeebert, a former IPFW great. Going to the middle again, Loy Ball. That great set. And there's also, you know, another league starting up here at the new sports complex here in town. So it's getting more and more popular here. And as long as a lot of great coaches like Tolliver, Blyler, Jeebert, and some other people keep doing the great job that they're doing, Judy Teague and Concordia, it certainly will continue to grow.
Slam dunk that time by Loy Ball. 13-6 now. Kuyak on serve, and they've scored points off this rotation before. See if they can close it out. And another service error. It's number 5 here in game 2. Number 13 overall substitution in for Marymount.
The mechanics in the house. Break out the toolbox.
Talking about none other.
This is my old roommate, Steve Simonson. His parents had come down from Wisconsin, and his girlfriend, and his little sister, his brother. He's ready to play here. He's a tremendous defensive player and tremendous server. He's gonna pick the team up here because he has a great attitude. Whoa.
That time, ball pushed it just wide.
IPFW has a cushion here for a couple of errors, so that's no big deal. All they have to do is come back here and get a side out. I want to see Steve do well here.
Right, 6-13, Zimmerman on serve now. Papaleo going at Papaleo and Amaldavar for the passes tonight. That's 4 hits. IPFW did not get it over the net.
Well, that was their 2 errors they need to make. Now they need to close this game out. If they let Loyola Marymount get to 10, it gives Loyola Marymount either a chance to win this game or the momentum going into the next game, and they don't want that. They want to shut them down now and not let them think they have a chance to win the next game.
That time,
great
Humphreys.
pass. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya.
A lot with a kill. That time, Humphreys, just to clarify the score, Humphreys pointed out to the officials that they did not give them a point. It is 8-13. They corrected it. The correct score is 8-13. It was not 6-13 when Zimmerman was serving. And another service error.
He's going for a tough serve. That was a great serve by Normie. He just missed. But IPFW's been having so much success in the middle of this game, which we pointed out last game was one of the reasons why they lost that game. And they've been doing a really good job, Felipe and Pete and Quentin, all three of this game.
Tough pass that time, Papaleo. Spiegel bailed out that time by Matson. Tried to get out of the way, but his body just wouldn't let him.
Well, even if he would have gotten out of the way, the block touched it. So he get what you're talking about earlier, what happened with Felipe. He wasn't sure what to do with it. He wasn't sure whether it was touched or not. So he kind of got caught in the middle. You have to make a decision either to play it or not.
Free one now for IPFW. Spiegelstedt's in front of Amaldavar.
Great
now
coverage.
Reset. Relat right down the gut.
Why did we get that point? Because we're covering. Loyola Marymount has not covered all match long. We covered that ball. They blocked us. We picked it right back up. Felipe shoved it down their throat. Felipe's been doing a great job hitting out in the middle of this game. Getting up early.
This is for game 2, 14-8. Ball deep on the serve. Humphreys with a set. Blocked that time. Just wrong.
It's a great block. Steve Simonson's getting them pumped up out there. He's a great motivator. It's always fun to watch him come in the game and pick everybody up. Out.
Serve is long. That's number 4 for the Lions. Kuyak coming back in. Simonson coming out.
He's going to come in and get some hits here. Here comes Chad Blatchley. That's Chad and Steve. They may come in the game. They may not get a dig. They may not necessarily get a great serve. But one of the main reasons they're out there is to pick everybody up. And people don't realize that, so they did a good job there doing that.
2 known as defensive specialists. Humphreys that time. Papaleo celebrating a little bit early. Great get by Marymount. Papaleo over the 2-man kill. Siegelsen wants it. Zimmerman takes it instead off the head. Time got Papaleo off the head. Dodging a bullet. Deke Kilpatrick on serve at 8-14. Papaleo, nice pass. Ball back to Papaleo, straight down.
That's the combination. What happened? The middle was up early. Papa had that little seam and he hit it. Anytime there's a little seam in the block, you have to have a perfect block up against Raul to stop him. There was a seam, he hit it every time because the middle got up early.
Another try for match point. Matson that time.
Chad, if you look where he's standing right now on the screen, he was about 2 or 3 feet in. When the ball's set in the middle, you have to be out on that line or else those balls are going to get behind you. You're not going to be able to dig them. But Chad's a great defensive player. He knows what he did wrong. He'll make the right play next time. Great coverage.
Boy, a high set that time. Zimmerman and Humphreys with the block.
That was great coverage by Pete, though. Even though we didn't get the point, we're down, we're covering the balls, and that's going to allow us to score a lot more points than what we would normally get.
Time right over the blockers. Zimmerman and Humphreys there, but they were back to the net. A good foot back away from the net.
Certainly. You know, no other setter in the country sets the middle as well as Lloyd Ball. I know I've benefited from it for 2 years, and I wish I would have been here for 4. He's a great setter in the middle. Ooh, almost had it.
Blatchley again trying to cover the line. Zimmerman stuck it on the floor. Another side out for Marymount. They have dodged 5 tries from IPFW.
Another home run serve. Raul passed it. Was going out of bounds.
Amaldavar this time.
Normie pounds it.
It's time to set. Didn't have as much altitude on it. Got up quickly enough and just bombed it right over the blockers.
All right, come on, guys. This game's lasting a little bit long. We got to put them away.
Blatchley out.
Like yesterday, Chad entered the game. That's 3 rotations. He's right back out.
Blatchley out. Relat in now. And Kuyak on serve. It's been effective rotation all night. And I jinxed him again. Another service error, number 6 of the game.
Andy Zimmerman back to serve.
Zimmerman back on serve at 9-14. Good serve, Papaleo. Tough handle that time. And that time, something interesting. That ball was going over Ball's head. He made the decision there that he was going to pass. He was going to dink the ball over instead of setting. And what does he see when he does that?
Lloyd, every great setter, let's see what happens here on this point, if we can win the game. Oh, another side out. Every great setter has to read the block on the other side of the net. Loy has to look out of the corner of his eye with his peripheral vision and see where the block is. If he sees that opening, he can go ahead and throw it down, or he can set the middle there. If the opening isn't there, then he goes ahead and kicks it to the outside and lets that hitter hit. None of you at home can see that, but on that play, he's looking out the corner of his eye. He sees the best set's Felipe, he gives it to him. In a split second, they often compare center to quarterback. There's no comparison. The center has to make split-second decisions even more so than a quarterback. And it's very incredible what a center has to do in this game.
Good serve that time by Ball. McKenty. Kuyak cannot chase it down. And Marymount hanging around. Salikson back on serve. Tick the tape. Another service error. That is number 5 for the Lions in this game. And Relat back on serve, and we've been stuck on 14-8, 14-9 for a long time now.
That should finish it.
McKenty outside the antenna. That is game 2. Tied at 1 apiece. Loyola Marymount won the first one, 15-11. IPFW back in the second, 15-9. We're going to take a timeout now and be back with game 3. The Hilliard Gate Sports Center getting ready for game 3 here. Not a bad crowd on hand tonight for the spring fling. There you see the Central Lutheran it's elementary school, I believe. That's where Loyola went to school at. He has a sister playing in the band tonight. Doing a nice job. The annual spring fling, Neil had a lot of California teams in here before, but there's something interesting about the California teams. They are not allowed as many non-league games. They have to play their teams out in California, so we don't really get to see the USCs and the UCLAs like what might have been possible beforehand.
Tremendous point. As you know, there have been more teams added to the conference out there. Now it's so many that they have to have 2 divisions. Now what happens is you're only allowed a certain amount of matches by the NCAA. They have to add those 2 teams. That's 4 matches per team. Because of 2 teams, that's just 4 matches alone right there. That's 4 less times they can come out to IPFW or go out to the East Coast or go to Brigham Young. Actually, Brigham Young's in their conference, but they can't go for like tournaments and things like that. They have fewer dates. Therefore, we don't get to see the good teams as much as we used to. Like, that's why USC wasn't on our tournament this year, nor Stanford, when Stanford was originally supposed to come.
This is Humphreys. And Ball with a nice one-handed set to Relat. He often takes that overpass and pulls it back in. Just to clarify that point a little bit farther, Loyola Marymount is already 3-9 in league play, and they still have a lot of games to go down the home stretch. So that is taking away the chances for IPFW to play. That time, Humphreys into the scoring table. First point for IPFW. Ball has really been serving well.
Great dig by Loy. Way to stay low. That was, like I said, Squirrel can do some wild things with that shoulder of his.
That
Great
time
hit
they
by
gave a point to IPFW. It was a little early. Now it is 1-0.
We won that point because Loyola was where he was supposed to be on defense. Down low, out on a line. If he'd have been in 2 feet like all those guys were earlier when I was talking about that, he wouldn't have dug that ball, but he was out where he was supposed to be. He made a great dig.
Service there is tied out Loyola.
Now it's 2-0. A little disconcerted there. Just got the score of the Michigan game. They were playing George Washington close. So that NCAA tournament has been a big surprise, and boy, IPFW would like to pull off an upset. But they are number 4 seed out UCLA at the Pauley Pavilion.
Great hit by Squirrel. I think I agree with most of the fans out there in saying that I'm an IPFW fan. However, I'm going to make a lot of enemies because I'm not an IU fan. I like the Wolverines. Make me a little nervous some of the time, though. Never box out and they never shoot free throws. They have the best team in the country, but if you're not doing those things, it makes you be beaten by almost anybody.
It's all right, Neil. You're from Pittsburgh. It's
I'm a Pitt fan, too. I respect Bobby Knight, though. He's a great coach, and I respect the Hoosiers. I'm just not a Hoosier fan.
Both teams starting off a little slowly here in the third game. Loyola Marymount won the first 15-11. Did it with some good blocking. Haven't really seen the blocking since then. IPFW back in the second, in control most of the way. Jumped out 5-1, took the second. 15-9.
Great dig. Ooh. One thing all players have to do, Loyola almost had that ball. Why did he almost get that? Just because the ball isn't hit at you doesn't mean you have to still not be playing defense, because it can ricochet off another player and you have to be down low still ready to play it. Never fall asleep on the ball, because before you know it'll be up on you.
That time the set a little behind Roulat.
Yeah, it's a little bit too deep. Loyola doesn't make many bad sets. But that one was a little bit too deep for Felipe to swing at it.
McEntee. Take your pick. I've said it 20 different ways tonight. Another kill for him.
That's okay. I forgive you, Paul. The question is whether he forgives you.
Side out for Wayne.
I get Spiegel right. He comes through with another kill. He did not start tonight. Came in late in that first game. Has been in ever since. He's been playing well. He's been the most consistent player for IPFW all year long.
He kills it out. Point for Wayne. Spiegel to serve.
There you see, just at the corner of your picture there, Coach Ball working with Roulat and his positioning on defense.
You know, one thing, you know, as much as these guys practice, which is, you know, a tremendous amount of time they spend in the gym, as much as they know, as long as they've been playing volleyball, they still have to be reminded of where to play on defense, because it's very easy to let your instincts take over instead of your brain. And, you know, I know as a player, often I was out of position just because where I thought the ball was going to be hit. But that's not always the case. Always be safe and play where you're supposed to play, because 9 times out of 10, that's where the ball's going to be hit. That's why you're supposed to be playing there.
Well, IPFW jumping up quickly. Spiegel with some quick points. It's now 5-1. And Loyola Marymount's going to take a timeout. They don't want to let this one get away. Against IPFW, that's at 8 o'clock. And 3:30 will be Quincy or Laverne College, both teams out of California. At 7:30, it will be final telecast for IPFW this year.
It's a great dig by Raul. And once again, Loyola Marymount does a great job using the block. The one thing about Loyola Marymount, they remind me a lot of Ball State. Their colors are similar, and they play a very similar game. They use the block. They don't have a whole tremendous amount of power. They have a little bit when they need to use it, but they play great defense. They're very similar to Ball State, who also is in this tournament and is playing very well right now, even though they lost tonight to Santa Barbara.
Malivar going cross court. That time wide open. Salikson didn't know if he should be up covering the front that time.
Peter Kuyak to serve.
Kuyak on serve now. It's 5-1. Kuyak getting his first extended playing time. That time Malivar was into the net. First
It's a great dig by Quentin.
Extended playing time this year. Kuyak struggled just a little bit early on in the season, but now, tonight, he's been rather consistent for him.
Well, he's a great athlete. You know, it's just a matter of time until he became consistent. But, you know, remember, he's still a rookie. Even though he's not a freshman eligibility-wise, he's a sophomore. He's never played Division I before, so he's a rookie, and he needs a great dig by Normie. Ooh,
Boy,
get out of town, boy.
It was strength on strength.
This is the Mastodon. Take that back out to California, because Loy stuffed that.
Ball's going to win that one, 6-8 on number 6.
One of the reasons we work so hard in the weight room, our team is very serious about lifting weights, always has been. Not only do the players...
Boy, if we could get a shot at Coach Ball right now. He just threw his program. This is a little bit about the intensity. IPFW gets out to that lead, and then they slow down a little bit. Saw it in game 2. Coach Ball doesn't want to see it again. And boy, he is furious with his team.
You know what he was mad about there? I didn't catch that. I saw the notebook go down, but I don't know what it was about. But if he's that fired up, it's something serious. And if it's about someone on the team, they better correct it. Great combo. That's what we need to do. Felipe's up early, opens roll one-on-one, one-on-one. There's nobody in the country, not even Brian Ivey, who could stop him one-on-one.
Ball on serve. 5-1 IPFW in game 3. Good jump service. Anybody's ball at the net.
He's a back row setter. Okay. What was just called there, he's a back row setter. If he goes up above the net, touches the ball, and it crosses over the plane of the net, that's an illegal play, and it's automatically a pointer side out to the other team.
It is considered an attack.
Whether it goes down or not. If it goes over the net and he touches it above the net, it doesn't count. That's a scary thing with Lloyd Ball, because when he's back row, if he touches the ball, you know, just by reaching up, he's already over net, even if his feet are on the floor. So he gets that call on him a lot.
Oh, that time poor pass. Mix up that time between Papaleo and Roulat, or Malivar rather.
You know, we're up 6-2, but we're struggling here.
jumped out 5-1 on the strength of Quentin Spiegel's good serving. And just like game 2, stuck a little bit. That time tooled it off the body.
We found the Achilles heel of LMU. Maybe in the first game it wasn't because they were king on our outsides. Maybe it was just because they couldn't block middle. Because now every time we go to the middle, it's a kill. You know, I'd say three out of every 4 times we go to the middle, it's a kill. As long as that's the case, if we pass on, there's no way Loyola Marymount can win.
McKenty with a kill.
Felipe and Pete have really picked, along with Quentin when he's been hitting some out of the middle, have really picked it up. They're up earlier and they're killing the balls because they're really hitting the ball well.
This is D. Kilpatrick on serve, ticks the tape. A service error for Marymount.
Side out for Wayne. Raul Papaleo back to serve.
Papaleo on serve. Tough pass. Humphreys brings it back in for Madsen. Kuyak. And Spiegel couldn't turn it inside.
Jason McKenty back to serve.
Valdivar now up to ball. Quick one hitter that time.
Peter Kuyak.
Can't stop it.
Kuyak.
Pete's
Also,
on fire.
with that quick hit, I noticed that his wrist was really loose before he came up over his head and then snapped it straight down.
You have to be really quick. One thing, you know, you have to. Pete had to really speed up his arm swing in order to hit out of the middle this year, which because he hasn't been used to hitting out of the middle, and by doing that and speeding up his arm swing, it makes it very hard for him to block. One thing that Tom Junkie, who was here last year, and the other middles did on our team, we had really fast arm swings. So once we were up in the air, all Loy had to do was put the ball in front of us, and we terminate it really fast. If your arm swing is slow, which is one of Felipe's problems, you'll tend to get blocked more and not get as many kills.
Very important in the middle to get that up over there because you don't have as many options where to go over the middle.
But the one advantage Felipe has to make up for his slower arm swing is that he reaches so high because he's so tall and has such long arms. So even when he is slow getting to the ball with his swing, he's still able to hit it over and around people because he has good court sense. And that's what makes up for that with him.
Talking about the quick hitter, you have a lot of options over the middle, but when that quick hitter, you have to snap it quickly.
Great coverage. That's what Coach Ball wants right there, and that's why we won that point. Oh,
off the blocker once
I may
again.
have jinxed this.
Marymount.
See ya. That ball was in by a foot. That play was made happen by Felipe Relot covering. That's what we've been talking about all night. And in the overpass kill, there's Denny Johnson right there. Speaking of the devil, he wants those overpasses slammed down just like Lloyd did right there. Never tip that ball down unless it's wide open. Always swing at it and put it away. Ha.
You missed it earlier. Denny Johnson, he used to work with this IPFW team and telling him to gotta kill any overpass. And Neil heard that quite a bit from Mr. Johnson. They've been doing it tonight, a little slow in the first game.
That was old Denny's thing. Kill that overpass. I miss Denny. I'm sure the guys on the team miss him a lot too.
All right, Humphreys to McKenty. Doesn't get it up enough block that time. Rolata and Maldivar. 8-3 IPFW out in front now. In control here in the third game. Madsen up ahead to Humphreys. This is Zimmerman with a hole that time.
Felipe almost had him. They use a stack blocking system where one blocker chases. It's kind of difficult to explain in simplistic terms, but what basically happens is the outside blocker lines up behind the middle and he goes wherever the ball goes and he has to guess and anticipate. That time Norm went the wrong way, which is going to happen when you stack block, but you have to take chances when you're doing that.
Kuyak that time with a set and the assist. Maldivar with a kill.
Even though Loyola Marymount plays great defense, they can't handle Normie's heat, because Normie, when he hits the ball that hard, there aren't too many players in the country that are going to dig him.
5 seconds of reset here. 5 seconds after the whistle blows to serve.
Now, when a player does that, they're allowed to do that once in a match. If he does it again, he'll get penalized and get the ball taken away from him. But once, not once in a match, once per game. Even if they go around again, the next time they come back to serve, they can't do that again. But what it allows them to do is reset themselves and get a better toss. It's kind of like in a dunk contest in the NBA when they, give themselves a bad toss, they can always do it over again.
Overpass that time. Speaking of dunk, Salikson tried, dug out of there nicely. Spiegel,
Squirrel.
Papaleo.
There's the coverage by Felipe again. Felipe's doing a great job covering. Ooh, it's a
That
good
time
swing,
into
though.
the net that time. The lot came down.
He almost gave himself a kill there by doing such great coverage. Felipe has a really wide stance, which is great for coverage and defense when he gets down low because he can cover so much area with those long legs.
This is McKenty. Over to Salikson that time, and McKenty is not the setter. It showed a low set that time. Side out IPFW.
That's happened to them a lot tonight. The setter has a problem setting to the outside. You know, this match is really, so the second game was really good. There was a high level of play for the most part, but this game is just like the first. It's really slow and sloppy.
This is Matson.
Charlie's going in the tank.
9-4. Well, Marymount standing around a little bit, and you can tell with the California teams when balls start hitting the floor, they might have lost their interest. The ball obliges with another service error.
You know, when you hear Michael Jordan talk about the zone, the opposite of the zone in volleyball is called the tank. When you go in the tank, it's when you can't do anything right. It's when you're making mistakes after and after. And Charlie Matson has gone to the tank so far in this game. He hasn't done anything, and he's a big player for them, and they need him to get started. Got to get him out of the tank.
We could be here all night with these service errors.
I know. I'm anxious to see the stats on that at the end of the game because it's been ridiculous. There's more already in this match than there are in most matches as a total. Come on, Papa.
Papaleo that time. McKenty well over the net.
You know what happens in practice? If that happens and two players are in between the ball and they don't go after it, that is definite cause for a pit. You know, and then believe me, the next practice, both of those players will start off their practice with a pit because neither of them went after that ball. We have to go after every ball even if we don't get it up.
Still Moldovar, now up the ball. Quick hitter that time. Kuyak got stuck, but got dug out that time. Kilpatrick was loose with the dig. Spiegel talking to Kuyak that time. He's got to get up a little quicker. Zimmerman.
Zimmerman's been doing a great job tonight. I mean, he has the repertoire with his ability, his different things ways he can attack the ball. He has a cutback shot, straight ahead, angle, and he's using all those things to get himself open. He doesn't hit the ball very hard, but he's able to hit the ball anywhere he wants to hit it.
Well, that's called the tool shot right off the top of the head. Anytime you can tool a ball off a player's body. Not really a tool shot, I guess.
Oh yeah, it was. It just was a hard tool. You know, you can often hit the ball very hard off the hands. It's just as effective as hitting it softly off the hands as long as you get the point. Oh, that's a great save.
What a great get that time. Gone for naught by Humphreys, the setter.
It's called
very
the pancake.
indicative, though, of the California team.
Definitely. That's called the pancake. It's when you put your hand between the floor and the ball bounces off your hand using the floor as an impact to put it up. That is legal play in volleyball.
Spiegel on serve at 10-4 here. Games are tied at 1 apiece. This is Humphreys. Zimmerman blocked that time by ball. Zimmerman up high enough, though, get it off the top of the hands. Loyola's had this problem before of getting the wrong person back there to serve just into the game for Loyola. Number 18, Darren Gable. This is his first action. He's a freshman.
You know, we're up 10-4, but it doesn't seem like it. You know, we're really winning this game convincingly, but
it's been service errors.
It's been really sloppy. Yeah.
It's been bad kill attempts.
But what happened was Matson went in the tank, and now they've taken him out of the game. You know, and he's a big player for them. They need him to play well. If he doesn't play well, then their team isn't going to play well.
McKenty is their leading kill player with 263 coming in.
That certainly is true, but often what you'll find misleading is just because a player often has the most kills, he isn't what the team flows with. Like, in my opinion, with IU, just an opinion, Damon Bailey isn't their best player for sure. Calvert Cheney is, but the team plays well when Damon Bailey plays well. Same thing here with IPFW. You know, Quint may be leading the team in kills right now, but they play well when Raul plays well. Because Quinton's just steady. He comes in and plays great game in, game out. But as Raul and Loy play, what they do is what creates the atmosphere for the rest of the team.
Kuyak at 12-4 right now. Collins getting set to come back in.
As the cartoon would say, watch out, here comes the Spider-Man. Time to break out his web shooters, give the squirrel a rest. Like I said, they have a big enough lead now that they can rest Quentin's shoulder. Now Craig's going to come back in the match and redeem himself for a couple balls to hit out of bounds earlier. He's ready. Cranking up the web shooters, breaking out the Spidey tracers. Great tip by Loy.
Side out IPFW. Moldovar back on serve.
Craig looks like Tyson, though, out there warming up like a boxer, jumping around, jogging, trying to get himself loose. He's been on the bench for a while.
Humphreys now. This is Salikson. Great set that time. Pretty play.
The reason Pete Kujak did not dig that ball is because he's moving. All players at home, when you're playing defense, it doesn't matter where you are. Even if you're out of position, you stop when the ball's being contacted, because if you're running, you won't be able to get down low and get the balls up. You have to be stopped when the ball's being contacted.
Collins coming from the back row.
There's the Spider-Man. I told you he's back.
Volleyball on serve at 12-4. This is game 3, best of 5. Tied at 1 apiece.
Green
Bad
Goblin better
pass
watch
that
out.
time.
Out of bounds.
Tried to dump it deep. Salikson did that time. Humphreys pointing to his head. Got to think out there.
Green Goblin better watch out. The Spider-Man's on the front row. Gonna get me a block here. Ooh. Too many service errors.
Another service error.
You know, I like Lloyd being aggressive on the serve there, but right now we're up 13-4, and we want to stay aggressive, but we want to take a little bit of something off it because we want to get this game over and keep the momentum. But you've got to keep these serves in right now. Great pass by Norton. Oh!
What?
Lloyd is setting, boy.
3 great plays in a row. Run us through that, Neil.
That was fabulous. Lloyd turned his body parallel to the net so he wouldn't hit it, and he set that ball sideways. I don't know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's no other setter in the country that makes that play as well as he does. He's such a great athlete. He's so tall. Lauren made a great job just to get that ball up in the air, and Lloyd turned what would have been an overpass and a kill for Loyola Marymount into a kill for us because he's such a tremendous athlete.
Chad Blatchley in the game now. A lot out. Kuyak and Papaleo cannot turn it inside. Side out Loyola. Back on serve.
Let's see if Lloyd goes to Craig here, because Craig's hot. He's got a couple of kills. See if we can get the side out.
Papaleo
goes to the Papa. Once again, that player is charging into the court. He's doing 2 things wrong. He was moving when the ball was attacked, and he was too far inside. As a result, he didn't dig a ball that he should have dug very easily. If he'd have stayed out on the perimeter, out on that line like he's supposed to, he would have dug it. Something that's very hard to get your players to do. You can tell them a million times, which I know from my coaching experience, but sometimes they just want to do what they want to do. And I know I also did the same thing when I played. You get burned a lot.
That time, first kill for Gable into the game for Loyola. Side out. Marymount. It's McKenty on serve. Overpass that time, and Gable with his second kill.
What Lloyd tried to do there is the old Statue of Liberty play where you fake like you're going to set it, but because you're back row, you can't put your hand on it. You just pull your hands down. Often the other team will be caught off guard thinking you're going to set the ball, and they'll let it drop in, but Loyola Marymount was not to be fooled that time.
This is ball going to Collins cross court. Great set that time, and Collins was able to get there before the block got up.
Spider-Man's, he's going.
Collins serving, 13-5 IPFW.
Out to get Dr. Octopus, Electro, and the Kingpin. Out. Great play by Norm Gorm.
This is going to be game point here, not match point. Game point for game number 3.
Oh,
Zimmerman.
that's a throw and a half. But the thing is, the referees have been very consistent. Both teams have thrown the ball a few times tonight, and they don't call it, and I think that's great as long as they're staying consistent with their calls. That was borderline of a throw, though.
Well, Marymount stretched out the second game.
Another one of those fabulous sets by Loy, and Pete did a good job. He was a little bit tight on himself of keeping that ball in bounds.
A couple of substitutions coming in.
Here comes the mechanic.
Steve Simonson in.
Mechanic back to serve. He's going to serve the ball right at number 13 in zone 1-2. That's his best serve, right over there. Oh, and he goes right down the middle.
Zimmerman. Timer lock came up with a piece of it. Couldn't control it.
Because Loyola Marymount was smart with their receiving formation there, because Steve is really good serving the ball in that 1-2 zone there between the serving and the right front position. But they positioned the player there and forced him to go away from one of his strong points, and Colin Leiter had to call a different serve.
That time Collins just a little too far underneath that time. Should have dinked it over.
Spider-Man went flying there. Looked more like Superman. But he's all right. I think Loy will go back to him here. Loy has a tendency to do that if it's a good pass. No. Loy makes a smart play and tips that over.
That time had him set up there. Looked like he was going to dump it back over, deked them out, and Amaldavar all alone.
Some of you think that every set play has to be 3 hits. Loy smart. The block went up on him. He saw that, turned, set the ball inside to Norman. Norman was ready as he should have been, put it away in 2 hits. Tremendous play by him. Net violation on Loyola Marymount.
Net violation. That's game 3. Humphreys into the net. 15-6 IPFW in the third. They lead 2 games to 1 right now. We're going to take a break and be back with game 4 right after these messages. Back once again at the Hilliard Gate Sports Center. This is a spring fling out here. IPFW leading 2 games to 1 over Loyola Marymount. They lost the first game to the Lions, 15-11. Came back second 2 games. Second game was really the best played thus far. Game 3, a lot of errors, and IPFW jumped out quickly and were just able to stretch it on out now.
Well, you know, it's like that game was similar to the first game, but the only difference was IPFW still won. You know, it was a silent bum rush, but it was a bum rush nonetheless. 15-6. They took them out, you know, convincingly. And, you know, there isn't a big crowd here tonight, and that has a lot to do with their play. They can't play really motivated when a lot of fans don't come out, you know, to keep them pumped up. And you know, it's great the fans who are here. They're trying their hardest to root, but it's not like a packed house, which they expect. I'm sure they expected more fans out here this weekend. And, you know, tomorrow night we'll probably have a bigger crowd. Things will be more motivated, and they'll play a lot more intense. But what they want to concentrate on now is playing consistent and winning this game. Whether it's sloppy or not, they need to win it. But hopefully they can play sharp and set the tone for tomorrow night.
Okay, what does Loyola have to do to get back in this thing right now? They've lost a lot of steam. They brought Gable. He's going to be in there, and Matson is in there as well.
To be honest with you, I don't think that they can. But if they are to get back in it, they need to do what they do best. One, they need to play defense, and they need to do 2 things that they're not very good at doing. One is blocking like they did in the first game. They did a tremendous job blocking in the first game, but they're not a good blocking team. And they have to start attacking the ball and going toe-to-toe with IPFW. But when you play IPFW's game, 99 times out of 100, you'll get burnt. And that's what they have to do to win this game.
Third service ace for Loyola. Loyola that time sleeping. Didn't hear the whistle.
The only team that played IPFW's game this year and beat them was Ohio State. Ohio State blocked, attacked, and did everything IPFW did and still beat them. And that's the only team that was able to do that this year. All the other losses, IPFW was taken out of their game by those teams, as far as I know, the ones that I've seen.
That time, Gable, he's a good-looking freshman, 3rd kill for him.
It's the type of swing as they need, though. That was a good swing. They have a beautiful campus at Loyola Marymount. The Olympic Festival was held there in '91 when I played out there with the national team, and it was they're up on top. You can see the entire city of Los Angeles from their campus. It's really nice.
Ooh, straight down, Relat that time. Roos.
Told my man to take that back to Los Angeles. Perfect penetration over the net. Blocked. Playing for IPFW. Straight down.
The block back. He is now on serve. Relat at 2-0. Boy, and Gable.
Oh, they have a new setter in. I remember this guy from last year. He can help smart them. He's a big hustler. He's not very tall. That's his problem. He's easy to hit over when he's in the front row. But he works really hard.
Craig Adamoli is his name. He's setting right now. McKenty might be the spark they need.
He's probably a better setter than the setter they have starting in terms of ability to distribute the ball and play defense. However, he doesn't have the height, and in today's game, you can't survive without the height.
5'10", Adamoli is a senior, the sophomore, and that time McKenty got caught up.
He did what he was supposed to do in getting off the net. He just wasn't able to pop that ball up, but he did a great job. He's got to get off quicker, though, and get stopped. He was running, and that's why he didn't play it.
Matson now. This is Adamoli. McKenty that time, and the block's starting to come around. Amaldavar. Huye. 4-0, jumping out quickly as they've done in the last 2 games. Matson bombing. A lot of smile on the face right now. McKenty back on serve, has to bring his team back. Whoa. And that time there is what you talked about.
Patty's letting it go, but That time, the one before was beautiful by Loyola, but that one, Loyola Marymount's complaining for a call. Like I said, the officials aren't perfect. That time, even though Loy is the greatest setter around, I think I would have called a lift on that one. I was a little bit suspect there. But see, the thing about Loy is he does things so quickly, he doesn't give the officials a chance to call them. And he does them so smoothly, it's hard to really pick those things up and blow the whistle instantly.
Matson is back in game 4 for Marymount. Sat out most of game 3. Collins is long.
A little mistiming on Craig's approach there. The set was pretty good. It wasn't as tight as maybe he would have liked it, but he still needs to keep that ball in bounds. It was good enough that he could have terminated it. Much better set, much better hit. He timed himself better there. Loy went right back to him. Great play by Loy. Craig's mind's back in this one. They need Craig this year, and we need more kills out of him just like that. That was a great play by the Spider-Man.
Kuyak back on serve.
Man, Matson is in the tank and then some. What did he do? He like totally whiffed at that ball. Like, I don't know, he must have gone blind for a second. I mean, the ball's right in front of him and he just missed it.
Spastic blindness leads to a point, 5-1 IPFW.
Man, homeboy is really in the tank.
And boy, are they confused. We're going to get a timeout right now. Rick McLaughlin has seen enough. 6-1 in game 4. Marymount is really struggling now. Have to get it back together or this one's over.
Charlie Matson, you know, like I said at the beginning of the night, he leads. He's what matters with their team, and he's gone to tank now, and they don't have a chance of winning without him. But IPFW plays Santa Barbara tomorrow night, but the match before I think is going to be very interesting because you have two very similar styles in Ball State and Loyola Marymount. I think Ball State's a better team, and they should win the match with no problem. However, it'll be very interesting to watch two teams that play very similar games go against each other like that.
Ball State lost in 3 straight to number 9 Cal State Santa Barbara
Great.
earlier tonight.
If we can get a replay on that one, Roy Ball jumped, took the block with him, looked over, saw the block jump with him, set the ball to Felipe. There's nobody on Felipe.
We'll try to get that replay up as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Kuyak's still on serve at 7-1. And this has been the most effective rotation all night for IPFW.
Out of bounds. IPFW's rolling now. Marymount's totally in the tank, and they're not coming out.
8-1 Kuyak on serve now. Matson, tough pass. Adam Moley.
Great pass by Papa. Oh, Papa's in the way of Peter. Raul, after he makes that pass, he has to get out of the way of the back row attacker. Oh, the Spider-Man with the dig.
comes up with a dig.
Sit down, Green Goblin.
That time off the block. Well, powers it off Zimmerman's hands, out of bounds. Another point, IPFW 9-1 now.
Felipe took a big swing there, and he needed that to kill the ball off the block.
Good confidence builder now for IPFW.
If they can win this game, you know, that ball's out of bounds. 15-1, you know, 15-3, somewhere in that area. It gives them a lot of momentum going into tomorrow. Here comes the Squirrel. Who's he going to go in for Pete? Squirrel's going to get to play a little bit of middle here. Like I said, he's very versatile. He can play any position on the floor. He's been playing opposite all night. Even though he's been attacking out of the middle, he's been playing opposite the center. Now he's going in the middle position for Peter to give him a rest.
One of the things that IPFW had to adjust to this year was the loss of Tom Junkie and Neil Day in the middle. Quentin Spiegel stepped up, and they did have a little problem at first, but now they've got it solved. Kuyak has been playing well there. Or rather, Valot has been playing well there.
Very deep bench. You know, one thing with Quentin, he probably would have started the entire year at opposite for us last year, except for the fact that he was too good. The fact that he was so good hurt him and kept him on the bench at the start of the match because he can play any position, and Coach Ball needed him on the bench to come in anywhere he can. Now, if he would have, like, for example, started Quentin and had Craig on the bench, Craig couldn't come in to play middle for me or Tom. But having Quentin on the bench, Quentin could have come in to play for middle for me or Tom, or play opposite for Craig.
This is Collins that time. Blocked.
So he started Craig, Tom, and myself, and had Quentin able to come in off the bench for any of us if we were playing bad or if we needed a change in the lineup for momentum purposes.
Boy, Adamoli with a great jump serve that time. Not a lift. Ball to a lot. What a weapon that has been. IPFW has controlled the balls over the net.
Middle's been awesome tonight, and we really need that. One difference is, though, Santa Barbara has a really big middle block. Jason Mount's a big kid, and IPFW is going to have to work around him and do some more things. They're not going to have such an easy time in the middle tomorrow night against Santa Barbara. Much bigger team.
Two-man block that time. McKenty stuffs it down. Lift that time by Collins.
Craig was belly dancing with the ball there. He's kind of hanging on the net. It's definite lift. It's a great call by Patty. But he did a good job to almost get that up. Almost got away with it.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. One player to watch tomorrow night for Cal State Santa Barbara, Todd Amati, who's on fire tonight, played very, very well. Complete player for Gauchos.
He's good friends with Quentin Spiegel out there now, and those two are going to have a little war going on tomorrow night. They're really good friends. I'm friends with him too. I played in a couple Olympic festivals with him. He's capable of being the best, one of the best outside hitters in the country. I wouldn't say the best, but at times, you know, he's hot and cold, and when he's hot, he could be the best. I've seen him do amazing things in terms of hitting the ball and blocking. I once saw him block Tom Sorensen straight down where the ball landed and went back on his side of the net. He reached over the net so far, so he's a great blocker.
Great dig there. Marymount still trying to stay in this one. That time into the net, IPFW point. Marymount 3-9 now.
That block was against my team. When I was on the East team in 1990 in Minnesota, Tom Sorensen was on my team, and I happened to look up, and there was the ball going straight down because Amati blocked it. He's a great blocker and a great hitter. He'll be a tough player to play against tomorrow.
Boy, that's a play we haven't seen much tonight. Explain that to us when we get a chance, Neil. Here it is. Papaleo now trying to come back. The overpass.
Ooh, see ya. Oh, don't call a ball out of bounds. It went out of bounds off you. Loyola Marymount's really frustrated now. IPFW is just totally dominating them in every facet of the game. They're running the combinations well. They're blocking, penetrating over the net. This game is pretty much over. All IPFW has to keep playing consistent like they are. Ball's up.
McKenty tried to tip it.
Great set by Loy going against his body.
Boy, back set. Olivar couldn't put it down. Papaleo with a dig.
Oh, great dig by Raul.
That time, cut shot.
Just missed.
Missed. What I was talking about earlier, Spiegel jumped in the air. Papaleo ran behind him and then took it.
Yeah, that's a combination.
We have not seen that with those two players.
We haven't seen it that much. Actually, a couple times in the night, they've run different combinations.
Right.
That's the basic X combination that you hear about the most. Often there's back X's and also the middle hitter coming around and the other guy going behind, different kinds of combinations to get Raul open. But those are types of things they need to do in order to be successful because they need Raul to be successful. And they have to set their offense around Raul in order for them to win a national championship, and they're really doing a good job of that in this game.
You will see more of that tomorrow night. The strong middle blocking.
And poor Charlie.
Santa Barbara. Matson with another error on the pass.
It's like Star-Kissed tuna fish. Sorry, Charlie. You know, my man, he misses everything. I mean, he's in a tank. He's popcorn. The balls are going all over the place. He can't pass the ball to save his life.
Oh, if we stay here much longer.
I feel sorry for Charlie because he's a great player, you know, and they're going to take him out here because he's, you know, like I said, popcorn. When I say popcorn, if you've ever watched popcorn pop in a popper, you notice the kernels go flying all over the place, and that's what his passes are doing. They're going into the audience. He's missing them all together. They're flying backwards. They're going into the floor. Oh, the Stang's in. Uh-oh. Jason Stang's in the match, number 16.
First time we've seen him in. Ralat coming out, 11-3 IPFW, ready to put this one in the books. Zimmerman. Stang with an easy dig that time. Collins, flip of the wrist, knocks it over. Zimmerman comes right back to the vacated space.
I'm really impressed with Zimmerman tonight. Even though it's been a losing effort, if IPFW holds on this game, he's really done a great job out of the middle, hitting that cutback shot. That was my favorite shot, which I like to use the most. It's very hard to defend against, and that's why I assume he kills tonight, because he's using that really effectively.
Another thing that has worked against Marymount is Siegelson was taking most of the passes early on, and then Matson was having trouble. They have not gone back to Siegelson as much on the offensive attack.
Great point.
When he was taking the passes, they were going right back to him, and it was effective.
Yeah, and that's what you do when one player's passing well, you go someplace else. And Charlie's been in the tank, and for sure they were going to serve him. And then when he has a substitute come off the bench who's cold, they're going to serve him.
Well, Marymount beginning to make a run. This is Darren Gable, has been impressive as a freshman here, but now a service error. Cut it back from 11-2 to 11-5. Spiegel on serve with a 6-point lead in game 4.
You know, they only have 3 seniors on his team, Loyola Marymount. They're pretty young. They're going to improve and get better in the years to come. They did a good job recruiting this year. But they're just not ready to compete with IPFW at this point. They were more competitive with us last year, but they graduated a couple of those players.
The only player that really gets a lot of playing time, the senior rather, is Siegelson. time Spiegel wide with the serve. Cut down the service errors here in the fourth game.
You really have to respect number 15, Craig Adamole. He's their backup setter this year. He's been a starter for them for 3 years. Imagine not starting your freshman, sophomore, and junior years and all of a sudden not being able to play.
This is ball now. Stagg tries to tip it over. Ball in Stagg that time. Ball gets credit for the kill. 12-5 now. Amaldavar on serve. Adamole this time with a tip, and the 5'10 setter dumps it over. Loyola still sticking around. Down 2 games to 1. Adamole on serve. Well, that jump service very effective. Ball now sets Spiegel. Resets off the fingertips. 2 more hits. McKenty. 2 more hits. Another block. McKenty finally tools it off Papaleo.
McKenty did a great job there using the block. That's so important that when you have a big block up in front of you like that, that you use them like that.
Papaleo backdoor. Spiegel with a great get that time. Stagg tries to capitalize, still alive. And that time Papaleo landed smartly on his right ankle. Loyola still sticking around. Down 2 games to 1. Adamole on serve. Well, that jump service very effective. Ball now sets Spiegel. Resets off the fingertips. 2 more hits. McKenty. 2 more hits. Another block. McKenty finally tools it off Papaleo.
McKenty did a great job there using the block. That's so important that when you have a big block up in front of you like that, that you use them like that.
Papaleo backdoor. Spiegel with a great get that time. Stagg tries to capitalize, still alive. And that time Papaleo landed smartly on his right ankle. Seems to be all right. Amaldavar called out 2 that time where he was going to hit the ball. Papaleo obliged. Ball now on serve at 12-6.
Great hit.
Marymount still sticking around. Down 9-1. Close the gap now.
I shouldn't close the book on Loyola Marymount so fast. You know, like I said, they're very scrappy. If they can start playing defense again, they got a substitute in there for Charlie. You know, and if they can pick it up again, they have a chance of pulling this game out. But as long as IPFW stays consistent, that shouldn't happen. Great. Craig's really come in these past 2 games and picked his game up, and that's great to see. Because I want to see his confidence get back up because he's such a tremendous player. He's just been struggling on and off this year. And it's nice to see him play consistent.
Jason Stagg now back on serve. McKenty, Stagg digs. Spiegel one more time. Papaleo's going to come out now. Blatchley coming in. Might want to check and see what's up with Raul. Holding the side of his face right there. Getting checked now by the trainer on the bench.
He may have split his chin. That's very common with volleyball players. When they dive, they hit their chin on the floor and it rips it wide open and they have to get stitches. I know it happened to me last year. It actually happened to me 3 times in my life. It's pretty ugly because you look like Frankenstein.
But you wore it as a badge of honor, Neil. Don't deny it.
Not at all.
That time, 3-man block. Gable splits it.
He replaces 15.
Number 6 getting some playing time tonight. That's Brad Priusis. Or I butchered that name. We're trying to figure out who's the Andy Don the player is going to be. Not really
Great
sure.
set outside the Craig.
Kuyak perhaps. Loyola has played well tonight. We'll have that Dandy Don player of the game afterwards. Try and get a wrap on the stats if we can.
Yeah, that's a really hard call to make for Dandy Don player of the game tonight when really thinking about it. Because I think Lloyd has done just a tremendous job setting tonight. I mean, he's made plays happen. He's led the team really well. And, you know, but another player that hasn't gotten Dandy Don player of the game this year yet is Peter Kujak, who's done a really good job today, staying consistent and hitting well out of the middle and getting up. Now remember, I made the point that the middles have to get things started in order to open up things for Norman and Raul, and I think Peter did a good job of that, and Lloyd did a good job of getting the ball to them. So I think it's a toss-up between, you know, Lloyd, Peter, and maybe Norman, but, you know, I think Peter did a good job opening up, so I think he deserves Dandy Don player of the game tonight.
And have a tendency to overlook the job Lloyd does, because when we don't notice him is when he's doing his job the best.
That's a great point. When the setter's doing his job, most people don't notice it. Everybody, you know, at the end of a tournament, when they have an all-tournament team, the setter usually gets MVP. Everybody's like, well, he didn't have 50 kills, and he didn't do this, he didn't do that. But they have the toughest job out there. They have to run everything. In order for that guy to get 50 kills, someone has to give him the ball. And Lloyd's done a tremendous job tonight.
Both teams now substituting, getting players a little playing time. Might see some different combinations now and tomorrow. Aaron Brock, number 3, is just in. Second time that has almost
Great
worked.
defense. A little short dude got up there. He got some hops.
Adam Ole tried that before it worked, and it worked this time. Got the ball back. Straight down, Zimmerman.
What happened there is, like I was saying, if you're not blocking, you have to turn and get ready for the ball to come to you. The ball came off the block, but we didn't play it because we weren't ready.
Well,
however, that's a very hard ball to play.
All of a sudden, it is 7-13. Marymount sticking around. Make that 8-13.
We're still okay, though. We just have to side out here. If we let them get to 10, we're going to have some problems. Coach Ball may have to make some substitutions back into the game or call a timeout. We don't want to let them score this point. Stop the momentum now.
Going back, blocked inside. Ball resets. Spiegel.
Great hit by Quinn with the cutback, but what made that play happen? The Stang-a-Tang with the cover. Stang was down covering like he's supposed to. Coach Ball has really drilled that in practice. Stang-a-Tang makes the play, and we got the point.
Spiegel with a poor jump serve. Loyola sticking around now. 8-13 back on serve. Zimmerman. Very big in that first game for them.
Stang-a-Tang again. Lloyd's really been setting the middle so well tonight.
And the middle has been open all along, and that has been Loyola Marymount's downfall, without question.
Yeah, I feel bad for all these guys because they're going to have to go through withdrawal syndrome when they leave IPFW because, you know, I play with many different setters, and you get really spoiled with Lloyd setting you in the middle. Middle's the toughest position to set, and Lloyd does it better than anybody else. And I've gone around and played with other setters, but I haven't played with anyone who's been able to give the ball to me like Lloyd.
Well, give credit to Loyola Marymount, down 9-1. They are sticking around. And now Adam Ole will serve. And his jump serve is very tough to handle. Good job by Blatchley.
Stang-a-Tang, but he got lipped by Adam Ole. That's that defense.
And a whip.
And then he whiffs. Looked like Charlie on that one. But that's all right because Stang's going to come right back here. That's a great hit. It's really frustrating when a guy digs you like that. That's why they brought Adam Ole in the game, to help spark the team. He did a great job there. However, that was a pretty weak serve, a great pass. Back to the Spider-Man.
Off 2 blockers that time. Siegelson tried to turn it back.
Jason's really improved on every part of his game. Jason Stang, that is. You know, he's hitting the ball harder, he's blocking, he's doing everything. It's really nice to see him out there on the court. So overpass.
It's a 6'4" sophomore out of New York.
Dig Stang-a-Tang again.
That
Great
time
dig by
around,
Lloyd.
Collins still alive. Got to get it over this time. Collins does.
Great set by Quentin, waiting for Craig to get back and get ready to hit the ball. Come bad shot.
That time, good dink attempt.
Adamoli is really playing great defense. He's trying to spark his team. He's not giving up. I think we may see him start tomorrow night against Ball State because he's doing a much better job than the other setter was doing while he was in there. However, I don't think it's going to be enough.
This is for the match. Ball on serve at 14-9 in the fourth. Dodged that one.
Net violation.
Salikson. Went into the net as well.
Let's see what Lloyd does here. You know, he has Chad, Craig, and Stang up here. He's been going to the middle a lot tonight. Let's see if he goes back. Yep, with the Stang and Tang, a little bit late getting up there. He slipped on his approach, if you notice, and that's why he was late getting up. And therefore, by the time that he got to hit the ball was already on its way down. He couldn't get over the net.
Salikson on serve at 10-14 now. Spiegel is long.
14-11.
Wanted a tip, and all of a sudden, we're going to have a timeout here. Marymount is back in this thing on serve, down by 3.
I tell you what, if we lose this game, Loyola Marymount will have so much momentum going into the 5th game, and IPFW will really have to buckle down to win it. That's a great timeout by Coach Wally. They need to just simply settle down. They're playing better than Loyola Marymount. All they have to do is stop making errors, get one more point, worry about Santa Barbara tomorrow night.
Well, IPFW had an opportunity to go out with a high note, up 9-1. They could have closed it out right then and there. Sort of like a golfer, you remember that last good swing, you want to leave with that last good swing off the practice tee and go play the course. IPFW would have liked nothing better than to go out here 15-1, have the confidence against number 9 Cal State Santa Barbara, and play them tough in that first game. IPFW has had problems with their intensity in that first game.
Definitely.
All year long.
You'd like to have the momentum, but however, sometimes, like I said, when it's a small crowd like tonight, it's hard to be motivated. They'll just take the win.
Here's a freebie, that time Brock.
We got problems now. They're only down 2.
14-12, and Marymount has come back. Substitution. Rolat came out. He is coming back in. He came out when it was, I believe, 13-5.
Jason Stang has played really well, though. You know, he's tired. What Coach Ball did that do was a momentum breaker. It's not because Jason was playing bad. It's to put Felipe in there for a big block and to slow the game down so we can get a side out here.
Ooh, into the net that time. Brock, that is a big kill that time for Marymount. Had a chance to cut it to 1. Ball was blocked and they had control. Instead, Rolat is serving for the match.
We can finish it here. Big serve from Felipe.
Ooh. And into the net.
Wow. You know, this is getting a little bit on the edge of my seat here because IPFW needs to side out here. If they let this good defensive team back in this, we're going to have major problems.
Blatchley stuffed at the net. That time Spiegel still alive.
Right. Outside
one more to get it over. Blatchley out of control.
Oh, big save there. Sloppy point, very ugly, but we needed that because if they win that point, they're only down 1. Now we can't afford 2 service errors in a row on game point.
There's Chad Blatchley. He doesn't care how pretty it is, just gets the job done.
And we have 2 service errors in a row on game point. If they win this match, that'll be something to look back on.
That is some guaranteed pit time tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know about that one because he was going for a tough serve. He might not get a pit for that because he was being aggressive. Pits are usually for mental mistakes.
Ooh, off Collins that time, off the toe. All of a sudden, another timeout. 13-14 Marymount. Shouldn't have put him in the grave. They're coming back. Boy, oh boy. Rolat left the game. Papaleo might have split a chin. He was out. All of a sudden, 13-5 IPFW was up cruising in this game. What does this do for IPFW?
I'm not really concerned about what it's going to do in terms of Santa Barbara tomorrow night because I want to see him get out tonight to get match with a win. Loyola Marymount's playing well. Adamoli came in off the bench, has led this team well this game. If they win this game with Adamoli out there on the court, they could win this match in 5. Remember, they won the first game, even though IPFW has dominated since. Oh, that is going to cost them the match
Blocked
right
with
there.
Another error. He was into the net on a play earlier.
They had the chance to come back there, and I think they just blew it.
Timeout. Be guaranteed. Coach McLaughlin from Marymount said, just get that ball over the net. Oh, big time swing by Gable.
Set by Loy. Out to Brad. Game over.
Finally, 15-13 in the set. That's a wrap on it. IPFW wins 11-15, 15-9, 15-6, and 15-13. Player of the game going to be Peter Kuyak.
I'm going to go down and interview in a second, but one thing I really want to stress to the people at home, you see how important serving is late in the game. It's like foul shooting in a basketball game. You saw IPFW miss 2 crucial serves back-to-back. It gave Loyola Marymount a chance to win the game, and Loyola Marymount turns around and returns the favor, misses a serve, and loses their big opportunity to upset IPFW in that match. Serving is very, very important, especially down the stretch, just like free throw shooting in basketball.
Okay, the players are shaking hands. It's been a long night. This match took a while to complete, 2.5 hours. We're going to have the star of the game, Peter Kuyak, down on the floor with Neil, and we come back right after these messages. Well, this is the wrap-up show here tonight of the IPFW volleyball telecast. There you see the scoring. The Lions jumped out 15-11 in that first set. Did it with good blocking and some great hitting by Zimmerman. Andy Zimmerman did well tonight for them. IPFW got to big leads in both games, 2, 3, and 4. Couldn't maintain it, though. Got up 13-5 and just couldn't put Marymount away. Came back very nicely, made it 14-13, but IPFW able to put this one away in 4. And we want to let you know about this. This is really a nice idea that we're able to bring you cable casts of NCAA flag competition. We hope that you enjoyed the excitement. Boy, I'm struggling here. I can't find this. Here we go. Here we go. We hope you enjoy the show and the excitement of intercollegiate sports from IPFW. To provide for such programs, we need your support. With the help of many volunteers, we're able to produce these programs at a relatively low cost. Your contribution will help to defray the production costs not covered in the Channel 6 budget. College Cable Access Center invites you to invest in quality college programming by sending your contribution to Channel 6 at IPFW. That's 2101 Coliseum Boulevard East, Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805. And now we throw it down to the floor. Neil Day standing by with Peter Kuyak.
Hey, we're back here at the Mastodons Sports Center with Peter Kuyak, player of the game. Peter, a lot of these fans don't know you. You're transferring here from Park College. Can you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Well, this is my first year here at IPFW. I'm a sophomore. I played last year for a private college, small school in Kansas City. I had 2 years of high school experience and basically a sophomore transfer.
Well, you have a twin brother, plays for George Mason, all right? And you guys had to make a decision on where to go because you both were highly recruited. What made him decide to go to George Mason? You decided to come here.
We were both recruited to come to IPFW, and we kind of as a package deal. George Mason is a little bit more laid back, a little bit more easygoing program, and IPFW is a little stricter. You get pushed a little bit more. It's a little bit tougher, higher level, and he wanted to just start off slower.
Okay. Makes a lot of sense. Now, going to tonight's match, I thought you played your best match of the year. You did a great job. You've really been working on swinging high. You hit a lot of balls down. The middle was very effective for us tonight. How is that going to play in the rest of the year in terms of getting Raul involved in the offense and having things go better for us like they did tonight?
Well, that's exactly the point I was going to mention, because when the middles are strong, then the middles on the other team have to honor us. And that leaves Raul and Norman open with only one guy and sometimes none on them, and they can hit kills every time when they do that. It'll make them 100% more effective.
Okay, well, how you guys feel about playing Santa Barbara tonight? I know you played them earlier in the year. You had a very tough match, possibly your worst match of the year against them out there. We also lost to them in a tough one here in 5 games last year. What do you guys have on your mind going into tomorrow night's match?
Well, the memory of a very poor performance by us in California in the A6 tournament against Santa Barbara is going to give us a little bit of an incentive to beat them. We have to play harder than we did tonight, though, if we want to get them.
Well, I think you guys will be just fine. Keep the middle going. They have big middle in Jason Mount. You're going to tear him apart tomorrow night. We'll be rooting for you up there. Good luck tomorrow night, and let's take another victory home tomorrow night. Back to you up in the booth, Paul. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Neil. Good job up there. Peter Kuyak again, player of the game. IPFW in 4 tonight. Good contest for them to get that win under the belt. Tomorrow night they play following the Ball State Loyola Marymount game, tentatively scheduled for 8 p.m. IPFW lost in 3 straight out at California before when they played Cal State Santa Barbara, so that should be a good matchup. Again, there you see the scores. IPFW winner in 4. For Neil Day, this has been Paul Farbaugh. Good evening.